What's up, everybody? Welcome to All Gas Podcast. I'm Kevin.
Factor.
And today's guest, we have Old Man
Barber.
Chad.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Right?
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Very good.
Welcome, man. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Of course. Most of you might know who he is. Some of you might not know who he is. I mean, it's a small world, but a big world. So, he's been around. I've been around. You've been around. Everyone's been around.
Blessed.
Right?
Blessed.
It's good to be around.
That's right.
It's good to have been here for how many years we have been here. I guess today we can start out with who you are, about you, about the shop, about you, just cars in general.
Well, let's go. How did you get started in this? Because we all know you're a veteran in the game. What made you get into this? Like, what's a little backstory on how you got started?
So, when I was in my late 20s, moved to San Jose, and we opened up a stereo shop. We bought it from Audio Mobile out there in San Jose on Blossom Hill, and it was called South Bay Audio. And that was like back in like the first days of Sinister. You know, when I wasn't actually a part of Sinister. We owned a stereo shop. Had this guy come through. His name was Rob, and he actually ended up later being the owner of Thunder Alley. And we called him Dearth, you know, but he had this race car, and he was sponsored by South San Francisco company, Lethal Weapon R? Weapon R. Okay.
He's still around.
Weapon R's still around.
Yeah, well, he made a return.
Well, you know, but anyways, Rob brought his little EF hatchback that it was a pro stock, you know, car at the time. You know, took part in all the CMIs and, you know, the local events, and he actually did some traveling and stuff like that. And he was kind of buddies with a little well-known company like Skunk 2, and they helped him out a little bit. And I don't know, he brought that car over, and I met my old partner for a barber shop, and we started this big old like 10,000 square foot shop in San Jose and opened it up called Barber Shop. You know, I don't know, he just kind of believed in my dream, and you know, it was crazy some of the things that we did, but you know, that was back in I want to say like 01.
Yeah.
You know, so we got my first race car when I saw Rob's little car.
What was your first race
It was
car?
it was a 1998 RS Integra, and it was a what was it?
What was the setup?
All motor.
All motor car.
All motor. You couldn't talk me into a turbo back in the day. But they were, you know, humble beginnings, you know, as far as it was, you know, I remember that they kept laughing at me because one day they'd show up and my frickin' windows were out of the car. Rob would say, "What are you doing, dude? Why do you take the windows out of the car?" I'm put Lex in and I'm gonna be like you. I don't know whether he didn't want the competition or he was just like, wow, what is this kid doing? But when we got into it like hard and fast. We built 3 cars within a year. My personal car, Stewart's, temporary race car, which ended up being the Girl Poison car later that Heather from Venom drove. And while we were waiting for the Crazy Train to get built at MB Products in Bakersfield, it took about 8 months or whatever. So he just wanted to race, so we built him another car. We traveled, dude. I mean, we started off with a 2001 Ford F350 dually. We went down and bought it brand new at the Ford dealership. Ended up 8 months later, we sold it. And
I say, shit, you're still in the Ford dually life.
I still got it. I have
That's still the same one?
That's the same one.
Holy shit.
That truck, real quick
Damn.
story, it was, we sold it to Jeff and the CRX brothers from Motorcar. Jeff and, I can't remember the other ones. Jeff and, I forget these guys' names. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But they bought it, and a trailer, and that ended up getting to Danny.
Yeah.
And then I bought it back from Danny Trent.
Okay.
You know, I ended up with the train later. You know, I actually have all of our original race cars. Everything. The only thing that I don't have is the rig and the trailer, and I miss it sometimes. But believe me, I don't miss it because that thing. In 60,000 miles was a lot.
Yeah.
That thing left me stuck in Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Indiana.
Yeah, but you put on some miles back then.
60,000. We did 60,000 miles unregistered. unregistered,
California people,
right?
unregistered, never stopped at a single scale.
Holy shit.
Ag points only that we had to,
Yeah.
and just cruised on through. And I tell you, we were some of the dumbest fucks in the world. We were driving around smoking bong heads and driving that thing. I mean, we were 71 feet. We were also 6 feet over in California, which we weren't even supposed to be.
Yeah.
But man, those were the days.
Right.
But yeah, like the racing, the old racing, was. Man, I don't think people today, the way you see racing is, like, today you go to events, the racing back then, it was a following.
Yeah.
We raced for championships.
Well,
One year I was number 7 and Stewie was number 5 in the championship at NHRA.
See, that's one thing we touched on one of our past episodes was racing just for a pot or racing for championships where you're getting a point series throughout everything. I think that makes a huge
and that's what I'm
difference.
saying that I would like to, because like I'm past episode, I said, growing up, I watched guys like you guys doing that, competing for point championships. And yes, it's fun competing at IFO and competing at SAC race with CMI and stuff. But let's make it interesting. Let's get the point system back again and make it fun. Make it
Where's
where,
the coverage?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's the coverage. That was another thing.
Like, guys, like, we used to be on ESPN.
Well, see, and that's the thing too, is you look at it this way. How many kids you see out there just taking pictures, videotaping just randomly? You don't have someone out here that's set up like Nice Ones or Soft Spot or any of those guys that follow every single
and they're
event.
That full coverage.
Yes.
And they're
Well,
doing
they try. There's
people.
people, like you got Rochelle, and and you know what? I just want to take a minute right now. I just want to say, Ricky and Chris, we miss you guys. Like, you guys were like core people in our industry, and I wanted to wear Ricky's shirt today, but I couldn't find it. And we miss guys like Ricky from Street to Track, and like you'll notice one thing, and this is like the most important thing. And people can think about me whatever they want to, but you know what? My phone is always on. Like, it doesn't matter what time of day, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear that messenger go click or whatever, I'll answer it. So
we actually we spoke on that in a past episode that I said you can call Chad at any time.
Yeah, alcoholism and depression. Are like, I tell you, I can't say it enough. And like, man, any of my friends, anyone, if you're ever going through that, because I go through stuff like that, but I'm real quiet about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think everyone has their own inner demons that they got to deal with, and you should never be scared to. One thing to talk about to the fans: never be scared to reach out to anybody, even if it's one of us. You know us from the show or from Instagram. We're open people. We're always willing to help and listen to the ears. Show up, make sure you're okay. So never be scared to make that reaching phone call.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Chris like a week before. There's a car sitting out there, and he wanted to come pick it up because he wanted to build it for his all-wheel drive. And then I heard there was another car and whatever, but that's besides the point. It was those conversations with him. I miss those. He used to call me back when I used to throw the events and be like, "Hey man, what's going on? I want to help. I want to get involved. I wanted to do this." And I wish I had brought Chris in. And maybe it would have made a difference. It made it just, like, we all go through a lot of things. We go through, like, divorces, things with family.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that I've been a single father for, 20 years now. For the first 5 years of my life, when we were out racing, which we were speaking upon earlier, I wasn't a great father. I was out living my dream and not the dream that I should have been making at home. So if you notice the transition and the way that things changed for me as I slowed down away from racing and going out and being on the East Coast and being in Texas and here and there, I stayed close to home because when I moved over to Modesto, I became a single father to 3 girls.
I was going to say, when I first met you, every event I'd go out, your girls were always there.
Absolutely.
Every local event, your
My
girls were there
daughters
with
grew
you.
up in the shop.
Yeah.
Over in San Jose, they had, my office was their playroom.
Yeah.
Literally it was their playroom. We kept my dog down there. I had a Rottweiler. And, these kids, they grew up around all of this. And it's crazy how they don't have anything to do with it now.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's usually how it goes.
No, well, I tried for a football squad and I got a cheerleading team. Okay, but honestly, God only gives you what you can handle.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And honestly, if there were 3 kids like me, If I had 3 boys,
I say the
or
same thing.
one, or just one, one.
I say the same shit all the time.
Just one, because God rest my father's soul and my mom and my stepfather for dealing with the shit that I put them through as a kid. I wasn't an easy kid, and you know what? And that comes in twofold. You know, I love my daughters to death, and I'll walk through fire, and you know, I'm my daughter's Uber every day. I drive her to work every day. It's just because
the younger one, or the one that keeps wrecking her cars.
The oldest, no, Haley. Yeah, Haley. She does it on her own. I got to give props to Haley. Haley is, since she was 17 and a half, she lived on her own. She's bought 2 cars on her own, and unfairly and unfortunately, she's been in 2 really fucked up accidents that I'm still dealing with. I'm actually going to go to court because of it's a police officer's due diligence to do their job, and it's amazing how I played investigator, and read through my daughter's report. It's backwards, but that's a whole other story. Let's get away from that. Let's get back to racing. So anyways,
we got a lot to talk about.
Anyways,
Well,
that list over there.
Yeah, no,
get into it.
What give us since we're on the backstory of you, give us where it started with barbershop, then into CTR, then into who came next, then into Push, then into Circuit Pros, and
Okay, so we had the stereo shop. Yep. Rob came over, he moved in, and I had a partner there, my buddy Lance. Mm-hmm. God rest his soul. He passed away at an early age, liver cancer, and we lost the shop, and then I had moved out of there, and I moved into Andy's Upholstery in San Jose. I had a nice little loft that I was doing my stuff up in, and I met my partner Stu, and then we opened Barbershop, which was a 8,800 square foot location in San Jose, California. It was like, your dream shop. I mean, literally, we painted each room different colors and everything for different sections, and we had a dyno on order. We had sound rooms and stereo and stuff like that, and we got so lost in racing. Out on the road, and don't get me wrong, we were blessed. Stuart's mother helped us out amazingly. I mean, I could be as mad at Stuart for so many things in life and everything, and and blame them for my divorce and everything and stuff like that. But you know what? That guy gave me my start and helped me get where we were. I mean, we went from a dually and a fun toter runner, where we would throw his car in the back of the fun runner, and we'd throw my Durango, and we'd rent a trailer, and we'd go to Texas. And that's how it started. And then 4 months in, we looked over and we seen this MKLK Racing or something like that, and it was Miles Batista and Lisa Kubo, and they had this toter home, and I was like, wow. I was like, this is cool. And come to find out, they were like $1,500 a month. And we sold the truck, and we gave the guys the fun runner to MB products for some weird reason or whatever, and we ended up getting that rig. 60,000 miles, barbershop, traveling, not coming home. Cost me a relationship. And became a single father because of mistakes I made as a father and as a husband, not being there. So, being a man and taking, admission to, the things and mistakes that you made in life, put me in as a single father that, I had to figure out what to do. So when I was in San Jose, at that point, it just was kind of getting played out. And a very good friend of mine from over here in Modesto, Carlos, who, God rest his soul, I say that a lot, unfortunately. Yeah, but he's the one who talked me into coming out here. And he was like, literally helped me get my start, helped me move out here, helped me do everything. His family, his daughter, who's like a daughter to me, just, graduated high school and was going to college. And, so many things changed when I came over here. It was like starting a whole new life and getting away from my divorce and my ex-wife and, the problems that I was experiencing with that. And coming here was kind of like a rebirth. So we kept the name CTR, which was from there. Because, when we shut down Barbershop, there were a few demons, that my partner had left some debts and stuff like that. And so when I come over here, I came with a dyno. that myself personally, I knew how to use. I could tune cars on VTEC controllers and stuff like that. I wasn't a tuner.
Back in the AFC days.
I wasn't a tuner. Yes, I wasn't even a tuner. We were on Skunk 2 chips.
Yep. The spoon
ECU.
chips, the Mugen
Yeah,
chips,
a lot of
all
us.
that dumb
And,
shit.
Justin from Sinister, he'd get up and do his cars and stuff like that. Nobody really knew the keyboards,
Yep.
but Dyno Spot.
Yeah.
I got to throw out Lawrence. Lawrence has been a guy that's been around years. He tuned my first race car. Back that orange car sitting out there.
Oh shit.
And he'd do 3 or 4 pulls, burn a chip every pass, and everything. And he's one of those guys. But he'd say, hey, you need this. Hey, you need this. Hey, you need this. So we'd go spend more money and we'd come back. And, and that was the way that was the way these shops made it. That's why there were so many shops back then. So, anyways, we got out here to Manteca. We brought the dyno, and I used to have a guy named Artie who used to tune for me. Taught me a lot about Chrome and all the other ones, watching him and everything. So when I lost him, he was going through some personal issues and stuff like that. I started tuning, and I started bringing Ryan from Tech 3,
Okay.
who used to tune at my shop back when I was in San Jose. He'd come over and do weekends and stuff like that. That's when we built Lisa's car, the murder hatch, the murder Civic,
Yep.
and that's when that was my first interaction with a turbo car, and I was still about all motor. We were driving the CRX and my Integra and the train when I got it back. I drove all 3 of the cars at different times, and we got settled here, and we were CTR. About 6 years into CTR, I lost my building over where we were, over by the freeway on 99, and one day my lady said, hey, come check this place out, and we came out here, and it's an Empire Modesto, but we're way on the cuts. Yeah, we're on the east side of town, and I've had people tell me location.
Oh yeah,
and honestly, people are going to go to where you are if you're good at what you do.
Well, especially the industry you're in, I don't think it's so much of a location
Yeah.
thing. It's more so
I think
what you put out.
I think we want to be, in our world, we want to be far away from people because
Right.
of the noise and because
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
doing a
getting
pull
there.
after a tune.
Hey, the more gray that you see here, believe me,
Right.
trust me, my goal is to be on my own property, have my own shop,
Yeah.
that I'm not paying somebody else's mortgage, and being able to not just be a slave to the grind, because for 20 years yet I've owned my own business. And a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people think, hey, this facade, hey, he's got a shop, he's rich. I'm not rich. I'm rich at heart, but I'm broke.
He's California rich.
Hey, we're all, yeah. Hey, they say if you don't make 150 grand a year, you're still living in poverty in the state.
Right?
But that's bullshit. But when it really comes down to it, I do enjoy being out here in Modesto.
Yeah.
It just the clientele is different
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
In San Jose, we rented the dyno to Red Zone to Ryan. Ryan tuned cars for me. That dyno ran 30 to 40 hours a week, but it was $2,800 for a shop the size of where the dyno's in right now.
Yeah.
And now I'm in 6,000 square feet, and Rich has like another 1,500 square feet out in the back
Yep.
that he runs Track Life out of. And this place is cool. No matter what I do, we have a lot of cool things that we're always gonna try to do. But I'm gonna start getting into another industry. We'll be talking about later.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna keep everything that I intend to. Here we're gonna get the shop back open in the front. We'll be doing block machining.
Okay.
One thing that we've noticed, if you notice, there's a lot of nice brand new cylinder heads laying around
That's
here.
why I keep staring at over there.
Yeah, they've been sitting around for a long time, and one thing where we've been lacking is our machining and getting our machine done in a convenient amount of time. Our cylinder head guy, day and a half, you get pieces that look better than they were when they came out of Honda.
Yeah.
Definitely, Market Victory Cylinder Heads does an amazing job for us. He has for years, and that's why we continue to use him. He costs a little bit more when it comes down to it, but the quality of the job, he's just an anal old man.
Yeah.
He's really, don't try and tell him his job, because
Well, that's the crazy
absolutely.
thing. That's a crazy thing I've noticed in the machining industry too. Is it's all holding in. There's not a lot of young kids that are doing it. They're not picking up that trait.
Well, we do have some. You know, the guy that's going to be doing our machining. I can't speak upon him at the moment, but he's going to be doing it.
Well,
he's going to be doing it at night. He's a young guy.
There's a few,
but me and Earl.
Yeah.
The guy that does my race machining,
Mm-hmm.
I have someone who does stuff for the clients and stuff like that. But Earl, I call him Pops. He's like a father to me, and he's just getting over throat cancer. Yeah, you know, but so far he beat it. You know,
Good for him.
It's a blessing because you know I was looking at having to go see him in the hospital and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And then one day my daughter came in and said, "Hey, Dad, I think Earl's out in front." And I was like, "What?" And I went outside and it was him, but he was like half the man he used to be. He's like, he went through chemo and everything and so on and so forth. So, you know, that guy we talked, you know, and he told me, he goes, you know what, there aren't many people that understand this industry. And not a lot of the father-son teams like, I guess there was a guy here in town recently, he didn't teach his son nothing. His son worked there, but he didn't teach his son none of the business, and it's not going to pass on.
That's what I liked about, I don't know if you've ever heard of it in Lodi, gross racing.
I have heard.
So Joey and his dad was the original machinist, been doing boat motors for years.
Right.
And then he taught his son Joey everything, you know. So Joey picked it up and
great.
followed it. And I'm sure even Joey's kids are going to end up doing the same thing, you know what I mean?
I doubt it.
Do you
here's
think
why
it's
I
a
say that.
generation thing that
Here's
our
why I
generation
say
doesn't
that.
want
I
to do
doubt it.
Why?
Here's why.
He doesn't want it.
Oh. How much longer today,
Uh-huh.
okay? And I'm not going to get in politics,
Yeah.
okay? How much longer today do you think the conventional engine is going to be in play?
Yeah, got a point there.
Honestly?
That's a hard one because you have
Honestly?
the older people that want to stay into that.
Yeah, but it's going to change.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, they're going to take it away from us.
I'm just saying, you look at it the way of generation
How many
gap. Like
years do you think the conventional engine will still be sold in a vehicle?
It's gonna go.
It's
but-
not going to be long.
It's
No.
on its way out.
It's
Yeah,
on
it
its way
is.
out. This whole industry is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I was thinking, hey, do I want to go through and open up like a complete machine shop and get some machines, or go get a bunch of CNC machines to make parts for stuff that, how much longer is it going to be here?
You're probably right on that.
Yeah.
How much longer is it going to be
I look
here?
at it this way.
It's definitely a lost art,
Oh yeah.
but not only just a lost art, but it's, how much longer are they going to let us race these cars? I'm sorry, guys, but I think I'm hitting a very real point right
No,
here.
you are. I agree with you.
It's something that's reality that people don't want to face.
The only reason I say it's a 50-50 thing on that is because you look at the generation. And your dad.
Will they let it fail?
That's.
Will they let it fail?
That's where it's going to come to.
Will they let it
Because you
fail?
have like your dad that was into hot rods. Then
Right.
you have you that are into imports. Then you have the next generation that's into a little bit of import,
Hey,
and then
bud,
electrical, and then
My
you know what I mean?
dad picked me up in a 72 240Z
Yeah.
for our visits
Yeah.
and threw me and my brother in the hatch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Cuddy, this is like a
Oh, yeah.
different world.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, that was
you
like
see
me-
Kevin Hart the other day? Well, I'm going to sue the company for wrecking my
For not
car.
putting airbags in my car.
Hey, buddy.
Who puts airbags in a 70 Charger
Hey, buddy.
Challenger or whatever?
Come on.
I have a friend who was there at the scene of the accident. Okay? We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay?
I'm just
You know
saying,
what I'm saying?
You can't sue a company to build you a car
I
that
think
you
that-
sanction and not put
I think that
airbags.
goes along with what we talked about in our last
What?
with Brian, was that no matter how much money you have into a car, if they don't know how to drive it, how many times do you have people that build cars that come in here and build cars, but they can't drive it for shit?
Right.
Mustang? It's a Mustang. No, I'll leave the Mustang guys alone because
They
they always
damage
give the
themselves
Honda
enough.
guys shit. But whatever.
Well, that's what I mean. The generation thing. You have the hot rods that hate imports, then you have the imports that hate the electrical, then you have the electrical that are now the new kids, and
Hey,
that's why I say it's gonna change. But I think it's gonna be one of those you're gonna fight until the end type shit, or until that
see nobody
generation
gap in the tax
pass
like
away.
I made a post 3 days ago,
Uh-huh.
3 years ago. Okay, it was the last day I raced. I raced the train,
Uh-huh.
and I raced a Mustang. Badass, like 940 Mustang.
Yeah.
And of course, he got out on me. And when I went through and I pulled my chute, and I'm there pulling my chute up, and he came around at the end and he was like, "Hey, dude, that shit is fast." And I only went 9-0 on the car because something was still wrong with the tranny. I was actually out of the event, and I thought, and then all of a sudden I found out it was the #1 qualifier, and I had a bye, and then I got an easy run into the finals against the Mustang. And when I pulled the chute on the Mustang, the guy told me, he goes, hey, I've never seen the bottom of one of those Hondas before. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, dude, yeah, the car was literally like 2.5, 3 feet up in the air.
You can damn near pick the train up by yourself.
Oh, you can.
From the
No,
back.
you grab the wheelie bar with the motor in it and pick it up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the crazy thing is it did it to me in Vegas when it got stuck in gear, and then something was still wrong with the transmission, but the brakes are so heavy on. We have a handbrake which is rear and the front brake, so I had the thing standing up, literally, and I'm like a ninja on the chute. I don't know if anybody's ever seen me race. I don't care if I hit third gear in full power, I bang my chute. I don't care because I would rather bang my chute and fold it than wreck my car.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's all a safety thing. It's all in life.
Without a doubt. But when that happened, that made me laugh because it was like, come on, like really, a guy said he saw the bottom of your car? That's fucking scary, dude.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
scary.
speaking of racing, how you saying, crazy race, what's either the, I don't know, best race, craziest race,
Oh,
most memorable race you think you can think of?
by far. It was SummerSlam in Englishtown, New Jersey, 2005 or 2006, maybe 2004. I drove the train because I had blown up my motor the week before, and Stuart didn't make it out for the event. And highlighted the career, won the event, first national event win, first interview on ESPN with Griff Allen. Remember that dude?
Yeah. Damn.
And what was the other? Smash or Crash Gladys. Remember those people from
long time ago.
Kenny Sargent. They were all a part of that. I mean, dude, those days, like, they're different. And we were touching on that earlier about, like, I don't know, dude, I get on the fucking TV sometimes and I go on and I see the fucking spelling bee on ESPN.
Yeah.
Or I see, like, squash or cricket, or it's like, I don't understand this stuff.
Cornhole the other day.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
No,
don't knock cornhole, man.
I'm a racer. I want to see racing
No,
instead
but what I don't
of cornhole.
understand is, like, look, you go on ESPN or NBC or the whatever, and you see NASCAR all week long.
Yeah.
Okay? There are no shows for NHRA. They do it all on the internet of the web.
Yeah.
Look, NHRA, I hate to say it, is dying.
Oh, big time.
It's dying.
Big time.
If you watch NHRA shows, there are barely full fields. Okay? They are pulling career people and bringing them in the sport, which is a smart thing, like Mike Salinas, racer from San Jose, Scrapper Racing. Badass. Has Alan Johnson in his quarter. He's not the best guy on the tree, but he gets it done. He's in the chase and so on and so forth. But they have that whole deal. They're still chasing the championship. They make it work. They bring events. But what happened to 30-car fields? What happened to, like you only get that at the U.S. Nationals.
So we talked about this also personally, about even just our local racing.
Right.
How CMIs used to be 100+ cars. Like you couldn't get a whole day through until it was dark.
Right.
And now you literally have 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 car classes.
We go to the finals, and by the time shit did that one night, we were done. We were home by 7.
Honestly, guys, you want me to answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a real deal. Okay. Being a promoter, I know this.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, when I threw events, I think the industry needed me. Okay. Because there wasn't events.
Yeah.
Okay. If you noticed, I threw my last event in Bakersfield, and I was done. Okay. My event was taken from me by another promoter. Money, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. When we walked out of Bakersfield that day, when we had our first date, we did a 2-a-day event. Okay. We throw old school events. Okay. Events that would, like, get the community together, have the night in the pits, hang out, give you time. We gave 4 passes for qualifying.
Well, that was another thing too that we had spoken on, how there was that whole fuck a racer bullshit where you couldn't talk to a race car driver. Well, that's how that event was. That night before in the pits, you could literally walk around and meet every racer you wanted.
I think, see, now, if we're going to talk about that situation, like hockey, like I said, I think a lot of it is what hit that original, not saying fuck every racer, but I think we're saying that, like we've talked before, the big dogs don't really
that dude Hockey, let me just say this. You know what? I give that guy props because he does try to do things for the community.
Yes.
He fucking backs off from the heart way too much, but he's a passionate dude. I watch his stuff, but I don't follow him or anything. But hey, I got passion to anybody that has passion. Look, he takes the time, he has his podcast and whatever, whatever. Fuck you or fuck whoever else. If you think I'm different, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like my vision of me, like right now at 50 years old, is if you got a problem with me, say so. If not, fuck you. If you want to talk behind my back,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You ain't fucking doing shit to me.
You ain't paying my bills.
You
You ain't hurting my
exactly.
family.
You ain't paying my bills.
Your bill's still getting paid even though they're just doing what we're doing this.
Right.
Yep.
I work hard for my clients. I work hard for my customers, and I know. And you know what? Yeah, I do take a long time, but you know what? It comes down to it. Hey, a lot of people that come here to have me work on their car, not to have somebody else work on their car.
As long as it's done right, I don't think it should matter how long it takes. As long as it's done right.
No, you gotta. There are some.
I'm just saying you have.
There are some times.
You have the people that will put a whole motor together in a fucking hour, and
oh
it's
no,
gonna
yeah,
die
I could put a motor together in an hour, but you're not gonna be happy with it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'd be happier with. I took a day or two. My bad, extra. Or oh fuck, it was done fucking 4 hours early. My bad,
Right.
So and that's why I said the time frame thing.
No, it's there. It's just that people don't understand what it takes to build a car.
Well, you also have a life outside of a shop.
No, you don't.
You have family. You have kids.
You know what?
Well, that's the point. You either like.
I have to make time.
Oh, you have to make time.
I have to make time for myself, and you know how I do that? I go play soccer.
Well, yeah, but I'm just.
That's the only way I get out of
Did
here.
you watch episode 1?
No, I did. You fuckers.
Told you played soccer.
No, hey, fuck you all. Hey, 50 years old.
So my knees are good.
You see, no, my knees. Hey, I got a 6-pack, not a 12-pack. So you know what? Fuck all y'all. But hey, I'm 50 years old. I play 3 nights a week,
right?
And I do it for my sanity.
Well,
it gets me away from here.
Yeah.
It actually gets my mind off of racing. And I'll tell you, it was definitely a replacement for racing. Because when I couldn't race anymore, because there was a point, like, this state has fucked up this business so much in the last 3 years that it's impossible to own this business unless you have phenomenal amounts of money.
Oh yeah, well look at the laws that they passed where you can't even ship half the shit here.
I can't.
Dude, the other day
I cannot call Summit and order a Type R intake from AEM. That's 3-inch.
Yep.
I can order a carb legal GSR, but it's but that's just Summit. But I can't even call the distributors.
No, yeah. So here's the fucked up one. I'm doing a diesel into my Blazer.
Good luck.
Oh, it's already done. I just have to finish wiring.
Right.
So
They're the worst right now.
I bought 2 plates, 2 billet aluminum plates to make my own Y bridge.
Okay.
They wouldn't even ship the plates to my house. Because they said, you could modify your intake with these plates, so we can't ship them to California. I said, they're not even a part. They are literally.
You ever tried to buy a 16-volt battery for a race car?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's not California compliant. It's not California compliant.
So stupid.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's literally that bad that you can't even buy 2 pieces of metal because it could be a part.
I tried to order a boost per gear, a max solenoid.
Yeah, a little max solenoid.
It's not carb legal from AEM. It's not carb legal.
That's nuts.
Yeah, there's just there's certain things, and guys, hey, this whole everybody talks shit about old Uncle Trump, the cheese puff, whatever. But you know what? When everybody started popping up the other day, oh, carb, the EPA, this, that, I'll vote for that guy. Hey, like I said, I'm not going to turn this into a political rant, okay?
Yeah.
But guys, if California could just go back to being the way it used to be,
oh yeah,
there's money in this industry. There's
huge money.
The problem is that, and you want to hear what the biggest problem with this industry right now is? Facebook.
Oh yeah.
We had this conversation on the way here.
Yeah.
But somebody
Facebook.
said somebody's car wouldn't start, and it was only going to.
It's not even about the he said, she said. It's about the forums.
No, that's what we were talking about.
All the shit
dumb retards
that's getting sold around.
Oh yeah.
They just keep selling the same old bullshit.
Yeah.
I got clients that come in here and spend some good money, but they're mostly from out of town.
Yeah.
My best clients And I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, the Modesto guys, but my best clients, the ones that spend the money, they're all from out of town.
Yeah.
And they come because they hear, you know, that we put the time, the effort, and I am fucking OCD when it comes to cars. You see the cars that I build.
Yeah.
They're not just fucking cars. And believe me, the Ace of Spades.
Oh, trust me, I remember
never left here.
When I was helping you do that roof.
Right.
You were like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't drill with that drill bit. You use this drill bit. Like, you were like...
My throttle cable, when he tuned my car,
Yeah.
he was looking at it and he goes, it's got too much slack. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you want to have it right there. and I took that in the game and I'm like, so now when I put mine on, I'm like, I want no fucking slack.
You want throttle response?
Yep.
Hey,
No,
you put that cable not to where it's pulling, but just before.
Yep.
You want to be able to, hey.
As soon as you touch it, it's gone.
Hey, you know they
And
talk
that
about
sucks
driver
out in the
mods these
street.
days, these kids, this, that. Hey, that's a driver mod right there. Put that cable on tight, son.
It's true.
Sometimes I'll grab a cable and these kids come in. Let's talk about preparedness.
That was one of my topics.
Let's get into preparedness.
So, you as a tuner,
Uh-huh.
you have someone show up with a car, calls you, sets the time at 10:30, say, I have a tune at 10:30. They show up, their car is fucking, TPS isn't set, throttle cable's loose, fucking, all this other stuff. Old spark
Injectors
plugs,
aren't in.
Injectors aren't in.
Fuel pump's not on yet.
You know what I mean? What would you recommend to our viewers that almost like a checklist? Well, yeah, in the world, like almost a checklist that you should really have your car set to before you even call a tuner.
Okay, first of all.
You know what I'm saying?
First of all, the word you just said, before you even call your tuner, your car should start.
Yeah, oh fuck yeah.
Okay? Before you even call a tuner, your car should start. You should verify that it has oil pressure, it has oil leaks, not all over the place, okay? That all 4 injectors are firing, that all 4 cylinders are firing, power balance test. I mean, there's so many little tiny things. You know, you could do your break-in. Now, there are reasons why, hey, I have to bring my car because it doesn't have the right injectors, or I get clients that come from Hanford or Corcoran or Fresno, and they don't have it. So, you know, we work with those in situations, but if you can, get the base map. You know what? I got a client who just mailed me his ECU because he on accident erased it and sent it to me. This that. Send your ECU to me. I'll burn you a chip, or it doesn't always work. You know, the math isn't always right. But burn a chip, have it ready. So when you show your car's running. Okay, first of all, that's the biggest thing. A really good friend of mine from another shop that dyno's here, he brought a car the other day and it didn't fire. There were a couple things we had to fix, and it fired up, and I could hear it. I know that Subaru sound. 3.5 cylinders. I'm like, something's not right. Something's not. No, it's okay. This, that, and the other. So it's on a coil on plug, and you know what? I just want to throw a shout out. I actually opened up a program from another tutor, Edwin. You know, over at DNR. I'm going to give you props because your tune looked respectful. Okay. Respectful. Didn't look like a California earthquake. It looked respectful. So when I hear people say, "Oh, Edwin blew up my shit," or "Chad blew up my stuff," or anything like that, hey, I just want to tell you, I will give props to tuner. There are people that know how to tune.
Of course.
There's a lot of us that know how to tune.
Of course.
Okay? And I will speak upon good tuners in the Bay Area, and there's some people that do things in another way. Let's get back to preparedness for the time. So when you come, guys. I'm going to let out a little secret right now. Not a lot of people know this because I've done a little bit of playing around with flex fuel tuning, okay? So when you show up at my shop with your car on empty and 10 gallons of E85 in your trunk and you drain your gas, okay? I know this from data, all right? By the time you drain that gas, even if you tip the car sideways and get everything that you can, you still have some left in that tank. You would not believe how much is still in that tank. Let me put it to you this way. When you put 5 gallons in and mix it with whatever's left in the tank, I had a car that was 60%.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Okay?
Damn.
60%. So I tuned that car.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're going to have
on 60%.
Totally different.
Okay? All right? So this is just like tuners. If you don't know this, here's a deal. I'm giving you...
Free game.
Give free game right now, for real. Okay. So we got to see how long it took for, and this was an all-motor car, so it wasn't like boosted or anything. We did it, and it's got flex fuel in it. So I got to actually see how long it took. He never got over 80%.
Wow.
Never got over 80%.
Did you ever test the fuel
Yep.
that he had in the jug?
Yeah, yeah. Most of it, like guys, like, you know, you think just going and filling up 85, this, that, and never, you're done. Okay, well, there's a winter blend, there's a summer blend.
Yep.
Winter blend is closer to 85, summer blend is closer to 70.
Yep.
So, long story short,
Apple.
you tune a car at 60%, okay, an all-motor car. Okay, tune it, done, da-da-da-da. My dyno says I tune like 12.3 on the 85s for all-motor cars. And even the turbo cars seem to like it in that area too, when you're running par. Okay, if you're at 60% when you tune that car, okay, what's going to happen when it gets to 85%? It's going to lean out.
Yeah.
It's going to lean out because you not have as much gasoline, so on and so forth.
Yep.
Now you guys wonder why you got these guys out here blowing up motors, this, that, and the other, and whatnot. It's because they don't understand certain things like this. Okay, when you're messing with E85, it's always going to change.
Well, that's why everyone that I've ever known that runs E85, I'm like, you need to test your fuel at your pump every time you pump it.
That's why I run E85R, C85, or X85 because it's consistent.
Everything out of a can.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. When you have someone that's in a pump,
when you buy from the pump, okay, and you go and you tune it 60%, and you blame your tuner for blowing up your car. Because all of a sudden now you got 85% that blew up 8 months later. We tune for this. We allow for this. Now, I actually tune the car on the rich side just to make sure.
So it would fluctuate.
Just so it fluctuates.
Yeah.
Just so we would see.
Yeah.
This is why we have clients who have been racing their cars for 2, 3, and 4 years.
Yeah.
But I have a client 2 times in the last month that's been here on a cast piston on gasoline. And I tell them, stop, 360. As soon as we hit 370, burns up a piston. And I'm pulling timing, I'm running, people say I don't run enough timing. I run what I think, I would rather make power with boost than with timing. Because, you know, there's a point where there's good side, you know, minimum best and best timing, you know, and maximum. So, you know, there's definite truth to it. But, you know, the free game that I'm allowing you guys, like right now, like E85 major. Timing. You know what? You guys create the problem with the tuner. You push the tuner. The tuner says, hey, do you want to keep going? He says, yes, 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 yes. If we're telling you, hey, we know the idea. I mean, I can tell you, 400, V20V, stop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Stop. That's it. 360, LSV, stop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you, being in it so long that you've been in it, you know, I mean, there's always going to be...
Single cam, D16, 205, stop.
Hey, I don't know. You've seen that 9-second D-series.
No, don't get it. Those are built cars. Don't get it twisted.
I know, but I'm just
Don't
saying.
get it twisted. No, I'm telling you guys,
Oh, yeah.
the day and the age right now, and I can't tell you how many clients I get here, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I got guys out there kicking Corvettes and Mustangs' asses on the freeway with stock eBay turbo setups, stock motors. You know, it amazes me to see what we're doing with these cars these days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like we talked about earlier, would you ever thought in your right mind you would see an 8-second all-motor car?
No. Well, we'll talk about that later.
I was going to say, there's a little more to that.
Let's finish with preparedness.
Yeah.
Here's what I feel you should do. You should get your car up and running, then call your tuner. Make sure that you're good. Now, a tuner can do his job a lot better if you have the right tools. Extra bungs in your pipe, or a bung, okay? If you show up here without a bung, an O2 bung, I'm speaking.
You don't like to slide the little mini exhaust pipe up the dump.
Yeah, I know. If you want a quality tune, show up
that shit kills me.
with a bung in your header or your downpipe or whatever. In a good spot. It's better to have 2. One for your factory O2 or your wideband that you should have. Every fucking car, every one, and I can tell you maybe 20% have them. Every fucking car that comes here, you spent how much money on your car? Why not spend $200 on a fucking wideband?
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, that was the thing.
We'll turn this way around.
No, it's true.
Hey.
And it's the same thing we were talking about earlier.
I know I need one.
I'm still going to use mine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still going to use mine, but why don't you have yours? Because you guys want to, you guys want to spend $4,000 or $5,000, build this motor, this, that, but you won't do your due diligence to just fucking know that you have a problem?
Well, it's also like the people that come to tune, build a $5,000 car, come for a tune, and only bring one set of spark plugs in the motor.
Right.
Like, you don't think you're going to burn up that set of spark plugs, or something could happen with that plug that you want to throw a fresh plug in there, but now you complain. I only got $4 left in my pocket after this tune. I can't afford it.
I don't understand that. And yeah, show up. Okay, wideband is a positive. Boost gauges, this, that, all these gauges in the world. One important gauge, and I'll tell you, and I'm going to give you guys another little bit of free game. This is something that I found that works real cool. It's an innovative unit that has 4 different functions in it. It's meant to be a wideband, an E85 analyzer. It also has a fuel pressure sensor and a fuel temperature.
Wow.
Who cares about fuel pressure and temperature like on the gauge? I really wouldn't do it. Well, you know what I'm putting that thing on? I'm putting that on the oil.
Yeah.
So now I have a gauge that does oil pressure, oil temp, E85 analyzer, and a wideband.
Yeah.
And it data logs all onto my laptop.
Yeah.
Through the S300 or whatever program and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now I can scientifically do my job.
Oh, yeah.
I can scientifically do my job properly. Okay? All the way around. As I said, if you show up with these few things, it makes it easier for the tuner to do his job. And the thing is, know your car. Know what injectors are in it. Know what compression your pistons are. Try to know if your head has been milled 50 times or if it's a B16 head and it looks like a GSR. Okay? All this stuff makes a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Just have knowledge in what you're doing. But the most important thing is come prepared.
Yeah.
And know that if you show up late, you're fucking up your tuner and everybody else that's going to show there later.
Well, and that was another thing I was going to say about the preparedness thing is, even if you're not calling your tuner to get a tune at this point, you can still call your tuner and say, hey, I'm building this. I want to be prepared before I come to you. Is there anything that I should touch on my car before I come to you?
Oh no, I get guys that do that, absolutely. And hey, what do you do that? And always ask your tuner, because every tuner is going to be different.
Yep.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. If your tuner, if the first thing he doesn't do is pick up a test light, fire him and take your car off his dyno. Okay? Second of all, okay, if he doesn't do the due diligence to give you the time you fucking paid for, don't ever go back to that motherfucker again. And let me tell you, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to get into it.
That goes both ways though too, like you said, if the tuner, or if the racer or builder or whatever shows up an hour late, and you're still expecting your 3 hours?
You're wasting your time.
Well, no, you know what you do? Is you have to reschedule that person.
Yeah.
Because you got to give everybody their time to do it right, or put him at the back end and make him wait, which is what I usually do.
Or pay more.
But the thing is that you can't substitute being in a hurry for doing that.
Yeah.
I do have neighbors, okay? I have done some fast tunes at night. I do have clients that have hit me up, hey dude, you said something about this guy only did 3 or 4 passes, but you tuned my car in like 5 or 6 passes. Was it nighttime? Was it real late? You go, yeah. Well, I have neighbors. I try to be respectful.
Yep.
Like literally, I have a church across from me, another church across from me, and 50 people that live in regular homes. My shop is on the 132.
Yep.
So I try to be a good neighbor. At the same time, we also do toy drives. We've missed it the last 2 years because I've been dealing with some own personal demons and stuff. But, we do toy drives to support our community and the local kids in my community. We give those to the kids a week before Christmas, and we give family and canned food and stuff like that. Yep. It's not just about what I can do here for me. I want to be good to my community. Yep. Because I have kids, and trust me, dude, the last 2 years I've struggled to put food on my kids' plates. A lot of people don't know that I haven't really been open I'm stagnant right now.
You've been a little low key lately.
If y'all don't know, my dad passed away in February last year. And man, Kevin can speak for this. Like, that's like, it's like, well, that's the hardest thing in the world to go through. And my dad died of cancer. And I knew he was dying of cancer. And he fell a couple days after Christmas, and spent New Year's in the hospital with him. And he severed his spine when he fell. And that day, I walked in, I was watching some football, my uncles and my brother, and I walked in, and the doctor came in, and my uncle's like, hey, his son's going through it too. And he goes, hey, just be honest with this, you guys said there's some shadows and stuff, and we found out that day my dad had cancer. And I got to spend 56 days with my dad when they told us that he had 4 to 6 months to live. And I got to spend 56 days every Sunday that I could with my dad and my kids. My youngest went, my oldest went, but my middle daughter didn't go. She didn't have the relationship with him because she sort of felt abandoned by our estranged. We were estranged for a lot of years. We always talked and stuff like that. My father was a fireman and a policeman. For 30 years, he was a fireman and a reserve police officer in Tiburon. And my dad was my hero, like most kids. Yeah. I didn't live with him. I didn't grow up with him. I grew up with a stepfather. But, when it comes down to it, losing my father, it fucked me up. It fucked me up. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little jealous. Like you said, you got to spend, 56 days or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was sudden.
Yeah.
It was very unexpected.
Well,
so.
that's
I understand that.
Definite,
fucked up.
That's a message.
Yeah.
That's a message that, strive to be the best person you can be today, because tomorrow's never promised. And I didn't really get that.
Yeah.
I'm a selfish person all my life, controlling in a way of like how I control my business and and my children and everything and so on and so forth. And I'll tell you, my father dying didn't just leave a hole in my heart. It left. No. Like I said, my dad was my hero. It's a person that's not there to talk to. It's a person that, like I said, was my hero, and it made me realize that I need to prepare myself. And my dad, like, I'm OCD with the car, but I'm looking at a mess right now. Mm-hmm. And we cleaned up this little area. I haven't been able to get his things clean, but my dad was OCD. When we cleaned out my father's house, everything was in bags, and it said on the what paint colors were used for this, and my dad was prepared, but he wasn't completely finished. There was a file when he passed away of everything that he wanted to do with his estate for his kids, and my dad had.
I ran into the same thing.
Had dementia, and it messed with his ability to function and finish that process. So my dad had a will, but it wasn't signed. My dad had a trust, but it wasn't all signed. So for the last 2 years, we've been going through probate and things like that to get it closed. We had to sell his house and go through some stuff, and we didn't think we were going to be here. So for this last year and a half, like my showroom that I spent like 25 grand remodeling, 3 years ago, is a storage facility for all my personal belongings, my dad's personal belongings, my mom's personal belongings are upstairs. Yeah. And it's disenfranchised me from being able to do the whole business. So we've been shut down. So I've just been kind of doing some tunes and stuff like that, kicking, keeping things. But, to talk about like future.
So I was just the rebirth.
I was just about to say, what is your next step?
Future is, like I said, we're going to start. We have a section of the shop that was just used for storage and facilities that we're going to open up, and we're going to do machining, and buying some machines that we're going to be doing engine, bore home, clean, just block stuff. We have a perfectly good cylinder head gentleman that we're going to use, and we also now have the ability to sleeve and do with the TJP girdles that my buddy has bought a 3-axis and is purchasing another one. So we have some cool things that we're going to be able to offer here, local to the Bay Area now. Not necessarily exclusive, but you know, Trevor's like one of my very good friends, and we're going to be working real closely together. Cool thing is now you won't have to say bring in your block. Maybe you can just, unless you want your VIN numbered block back, you can use it as a core, and you can walk away with a built block that's going to be sitting here with wrap, already done. We'll carry pistons, rods. We're going to go back to carrying performance stuff. One of our mistakes when we opened Circuit Pros was a bad partnership. It was a learning lesson. And we also got into the JDM and the little parts and stuff like that. That shit ain't for me, and it never was. And it was kind of like, if you can't beat them, join them. And you know what? For 3 great months, I allowed people to help run my business, literally take over the front of the sales, and it was nice. It was nice to have a team. And that's what we're going to try to do, is we're going to try and build a good team. I got an old business owner who's going to be running the front of the shop on an everyday basis. He knows me. I've gotten rid of my cell phone, so for all you guys that had my cell phone, call the shop. Because if you don't have my cell phone number, you're not my friend or you're my family, and I don't want to get
I got the number.
phone calls at 10 o'clock for a tune. However, I do have my notifications
I'm gonna need that
on.
for my new tune. Just so you know.
You can reach me on Facebook Messenger and on Instagram, you know, and everybody knows those. I'm gonna
We'll link
focus
those
on.
down below.
Yeah,
We'll link all of his stuff. So
we'll
you
get all
guys,
the new numbers. The phone. The shop has phone numbers again.
Cool.
Fax number,
Okay.
internet, everything. So we're working on getting everything back up. We're going to be moving a dyno to Fresno. We're going to be opening up a location in Fresno and taking a network of tuners to Fresno.
Will that be your shop, or will that just be a spot for you to?
That will be a
remote
tuning.
tune in a
I will.
I'm just saying you be there to tune.
I will be there 2 days a week.
Okay.
There's going to be another import tuner from that area that's going to be there a couple of days a week.
Okay.
And then a couple or splitting time depending on how scheduling works. I plan on having a performance guy doing American performance.
Okay.
We're also looking to add an all-wheel drive dyno here. It'll start off 2-wheel drive at first, because through this process of my dad passing away, it's been a long process. And had some dynos lined up that have unfortunately been sold. So we're changing it up a little bit, but the key is that we'll be able to service every customer.
Yeah.
I've been in talks with a damn good fabricator about possibly coming out here full time.
Nice.
We want to start getting into the domestic market.
Better not be who I'm thinking it is.
My dad, no,
Okay.
it's not the guy I wish.
Start with the D.
No, but you know what? The strings are closely attached, which is funny.
So,
Really?
But the whole fact of the matter is where the shop is going to become. We're going to have dyno tuning, machine shop.
Yep.
We have the availability of doing cylinder heads. We're hoping to get something going for our own CNC program really soon. That's something that I'm looking into. We're going to be doing sales. We're going to do fabrication. Push performance is still going to go. We're going to work on, I will not be making the front ends myself personally anymore. I'll be focusing on the marketing and getting some guys. We're going to be hiring 3 or 4 guys to work over there.
Okay.
We're coming out with new product, new front ends that are going to push the boundaries of these little dingle dicks sticking out the front of the cars.
What the fuck?
Okay. Whatever.
You gonna get into the carbon life, or are you still just gonna leave fiberglass?
No, we're going to do both. We're going to do both. The difference is that we're going to. Everybody asks us, why don't we make carbon front ends? Okay, there's a reason we don't make carbon front ends. Okay, JoJo, who is the originator of this front end, okay, designed them to say, NHRA, we want to do this. It's a safety product. Okay, it's opening up the wheel wells for these guys. You don't have these guys doing 950s with stock fenders cutting tires. So they allowed it because it looks stock. Now these front ends don't look stock.
No, not at all.
We have the JoJo front ends, and I'll get into explaining the JoJo process, but we have the JoJo front ends that Richard has taken them and modified them symmetrically.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically this half is the same as this half. He made little what do they call them? I'm getting old, so sometimes the words don't just get there.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, basically he made stencils to take on the other side and made it so that everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And we believe we have the best fitting. We believe that we have the best fitting front ends on the market, and the originals that look stock.
Yeah,
now there were copycats that were sold to another guy, and I don't want to talk about him. A lot of people don't go into that. But I believe it's a 2 or 3 person race in the front end industry right now. There's Frank, who makes a front end that a lot of people like because it sticks out and it gives you that extra inches, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Some people like some.
No offense to Frank.
The one that does
that's the one. No, that was the one I was talking about. The one with the.
That's Jason. Jason took our front end and he modified it and whatever, and made us, did it. Well, no, he did it aerodynamically in a way that he thought that it would do. And it sticks out, and he doesn't have to use a dingle flobber in the front of his car, which I haven't been seeing a lot of those.
No,
lately.
you know what's funny? I thought about that the other day.
You did,
and this morning I was watching the Fall Nationals elimination.
Hey, you know what? Let's hit that later when we get to rules.
Yeah, but I did see one.
When we get to rules.
I was going to say, a lot of people don't also know about those Eagle Dicks either.
Is, well, no, but you know where that started? And I'm gonna give props to somebody, a local kid out here, who was the first one to put that on his car in the import scene. Cloyce Holland.
Really? Is that the EF
Cloyce
hatch?
Holland. Cloyce Holland.
Which one? What car's his?
Cloyce, the EF hatch.
That's what I thought. I thought it was
the CBI
his.
car.
Yes.
Okay. He was the first guy ever, and I went, what the fuck? And I was like, how the fuck? It's in the rules.
Yeah, it's
in
a
the
wheelbase thing.
And then it got lost for a long time. It got lost for a long time, and then it started coming back in the import world. But that's what we're going to do. Is with those front ends, we're going to start pushing the ends, but we're going to start doing stuff that's aero. Jason Parks challenged me and said, oh, you can't never get a front end to pull G's or to trip the front end. I beg to differ. If these guys are doing 180 to 200 miles an hour, why can't a front wheel drive car? I get it, the tire's going to grow, but I can't see that if a front end's not made properly, that we can't get a couple inches out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do with push. So, push is going to operate in that part of the facility. We're going to move the all-wheel drive. We're getting scales.
Nice.
We'll be scaling vehicles, possibly looking for an alignment rack, so that way we can do scales on the alignment rack.
And then be able to get them down
and
straight.
be able to do everything without having to go back and forth, go back and forth, go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, a lot of these guys, the numbers, the 60s that we're seeing these days, and the weight distribution, it's phenomenal. And
no, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot in this industry that's changed.
no, you see guys that are out there that are running the numbers, okay? Guys that are running the numbers, the cars are set up. I don't want to say copy paste, but they've got it to work right. I have a teammate that runs 40s or ran 30s, but the car wasn't built right the first time. They kept changing. Now he went to building another car, and now I don't even know where he is. I haven't talked to him in a while. Greg. So I'm hoping he'll get back out there.
I actually reached out to him to be on here, and he said he was down.
Good.
He said at some point I will sit down. I said cool.
I'd hopefully like to be out racing with him again. He's a fucking.
Well, we talked about that on the other episode. That I know I've talked to a few of your.
Someone needs to go fucking get Fat Kid.
Dude,
fuck, bro.
We were actually just talking about that this morning.
There's a bounty on his
head. I don't know if you've seen him.
Hey, Fat Kid, I'm coming for your ass.
I don't know if you've seen him.
Fat Kid, I'm coming for your ass. I'm gonna break cert on this 850 car, but yeah, we're gonna build something new. Let me tell you guys. Here's my idea. Here's my idea. I'm gonna bring the red car back out and have some fun for a minute.
Nice.
I got a little street car that's sitting over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's gonna be an all-wheel drive B series. But my old sport front wheel drive car, I'm coming back out with it for a. Excuse me, that was a lung. Yeah, but I'm gonna come back out and have some fun in drag racing. And honestly, I'm gonna give drag racing another shot with one car first. I'm buying a nice trailer that can tow around 2 or whatever, and whatever. But I'm gonna start with 1, because I'll tell you, the last 3 years that I've been out racing, watching racing, I have not enjoyed it.
No.
And it's not because of the guys that are, God bless every one of you guys that are still out there doing it and everything. It's because, and I implemented this years ago. Who wants to go and sit out in 100-degree weather and watch the guys fix the track?
Yep.
Okay. It's still like that.
Yep.
I implemented pans back in 2008, and everybody laughed at me and talked shit to me and
I wanted to
said
talk to you
this and
about
said that. But my thing is that I'm going to give drag racing another chance with 1 car before I come back out with 3.
Yeah.
Good. If I don't have fun in this next year drag racing, you're going to find me at the road racing track.
You see that? Get your belly pants, goddammit.
Hey, everybody, you bitch complain about fucking, going to the track and not watching racing. If you don't have a fucking belly band, at least something someone's got to make something that's maybe a little bit more simple for like the everyday guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe these
$400
$400 pans, that this, that, and the other. But someone needs to come up with an idea for a pan for these kids.
I mean,
and I think I know a guy that's got some aluminum.
I mean, if somebody wants to give me some diagrams here, I got some free aluminum and a welder.
Well,
No,
honestly,
honestly,
we need one of these.
honestly,
Right?
no, my shop's open, guys. You guys want to come down and do development on anything? No, my shop is open. My shop is open to that, because these are the things, guys. Look, you want to know why we don't get fucking TV time? Why we don't get the coverage that we need? Like I said earlier, I touched upon this issue. Okay, earlier. Okay, why do we see spelling bees and stupid sports on TV? Why do we not see drag racing? Okay, guys, because we have to be professional.
Yeah.
When they go to our events and we don't finish events because cars are breaking down all day. Look, guys, be professional. Don't blow your fucking car up at the track just to go fucking, it felt good. Dude, if you spun all the way through the 3:30 mark,
I hate it.
why are you going to keep going? Your time gets worse as you go. If you don't 60-foot good, just cruise the fucking car down the track, unless you're in competition. But if you're in qualifying, okay, and this is fucking game right here, every one of you kids, if you're in qualifying, okay, and you spin through first gear, or you feel something is wrong with your car, or it's smoking down the track, go down the right side of the track. Don't fuck it up for everybody else. As a promoter, I used to launch the bracket cars out of the lane, and people bitched at me. We paid the same money. But you guys don't understand. We're front wheel drive. We beat up the same location, that starting line, all day long. Okay, rear wheel drive cars, it's this long car, this long car, this long car, this long car. Okay, they leave rubber across our starting line. So any day that we can have domestic cars racing with us is a positive. Okay?
Yep.
It's not a negative. So if you see a promoter out there that does import and domestic and this, that, don't be hard on him, because you know what? He's supporting that track. Those guys are helping the track.
Well, that was another thing too. It was CMI, Fall Fling, that used to be the import versus domestic race. Or it was Summer Jam?
No.
There was one CMI that used to be...
I kind of started an import versus domestic thing out here back when I first started the West Coast Nationals. The OG Outlaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We couldn't call it the Outlaw race because they didn't want us showing up to the track having out. It was like, hey, guns and this, that. Like we couldn't do it. So it was the branding was West Coast Nationals, but it was the Outlaw race. It was the Outlaw race, and now there's Outlaw motor classes, and
we'll talk on that in a minute here.
Can't wait to get to this one. I want to hear you.
I think. What do you think can be done? I mean, the West Coast started it all. The West Coast, where it's been at for years. Now, like we had discussed before, the East Coast took over. All the big racers in the East Coast, all the big numbers in the East Coast, all the records in the East Coast. What do you feel is the reason behind that, and what can we do as a community to bring it back to the West? Or can it be brought back to the West? Or how do we get the East to the West?
The biggest problem with California is they don't want tracks. They want tennis courts and fucking golf courses and country clubs. And,
yeah.
I don't know, without the tracks, it may thin out the events, which might be a good thing for the industry, because right now, honestly, the problem with West Coast racing is there's too much West Coast racing with not enough championship capability, and honestly believe if
So would you
people
say like
started-
a lack of organization?
dude, absolutely.
Well, why don't you go to that? You as a promoter, compared to other people as a promoter, are you putting on events now compared to what events are now?
Yeah, you're not.
You mean is that changing? You think the promoters we have compared to the promoters then? Do you think that could be a difference too? Is it the difference in promoters?
Well, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. You have guys that are in it for the money, or you have guys that are in it for the, for the sport.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
You were for the sport.
You put on events for racing. Now you have events that are, well, the car shows put up all the money, and then we just have the racing in the background. Where it was before, the racing was the focus.
No, I think that it needs to everything. You need everything. It's the culture.
Yeah.
It's absolutely culture.
But I'm just saying the focus base.
But the important thing is not to get it too lost.
Yeah.
But the culture is important. Do I think drag racing needs drifting to survive? No. Could they work well together? Are some of the best of events that I've been to myself and seen were drifting events, because like I said, it's culture. If you can do everything you can to put the cultures together and create big, large events instead of a smash of so many. I mean, like I said, there's a guy that throws fucking 35 events a year.
Yeah.
Or probably more than that, 50 events a year, 36 times a year when he's got some going to 2 different places at once. To me, that's not a guy that's in it for the love. That's a guy that's about dollars and cents.
Well, I know, like when I grew up racing, and just in the CMI world, you literally had one each season. It was winter warm-ups, spring fling.
Oh, there were like there were five events.
But that's what I'm saying.
Tony threw 5 events,
Now,
and then there was Battle of the Imports that threw 5 events. Let me say like 4 or 5 events locally.
Yes.
Okay, and then at the time there was NOPI and NHRA. There was a lot going on then.
But it wasn't saturated like it is now, where you literally can go to
one
this weekend, one next weekend,
it was saturated. It was saturated. But
that sounds like it was more saturated.
No, I know. But I'm saying
the difference between now and then.
Yeah.
Are the people.
Yeah.
Okay. The people that brought this lifestyle in are no longer controlling that lifestyle. It's being ran by a different crew. Kids would much rather go and see street racing and go to stupid car meets than go and support the event. It took Street to Track getting together with CMI one weekend to shut that fucking place down, and there were like 20,000 people there, and there hadn't been an event like that since I think one of our events. And then prior to that, I would say like Battle of the Import events. Man, I used to go to that place.
Now, do you think
it's a fucking joke now?
Do you think it could be a money thing, to where people are not wanting to spend $100 to come race?
The problem is that it's the lifestyle isn't the same anymore to the kids.
Yeah.
The kids, like I said, they would rather go to the airstrip.
But that's what I'm getting at.
Fuck up the airstrip.
It's free to go race at the airstrip, but they're paying $100 to go race at the track.
Right.
Do you think it would help if maybe it was only $20 to go race or $50 to go race, or you could win a bigger pot when you race?
Promoters can't afford to throw races.
No.
Without entry fees.
Well, no, I'm not saying for free, but
coming out from a new generation racer, because you guys are OGs, I think from what I see, I think a lot of people don't want to put the time and money into the car to make the rules, the regulations, because like you said, in order to go 11s, you're supposed to be caged.
Yeah.
Well, some 1150. But the problem is not only just that, but it's sometimes it's too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let me be honest with you. Do I really need to buy a brand new fucking pair of seatbelts every 2 years? Fuck you, Simpson.
Yeah, nah.
Like really, whoever fucking lines somebody's pockets for that fucking bullshit, but yet some dude in his fucking 68 Camaro can pull up with his lap belt and no fucking nines? Fuck you for that one, NHRA.
Right.
You know, really. I mean, honestly, but there are some things that, but as you can see, okay, there are safety things. There are people that have been lost to not, you know, like, hey, that kid Jason, that raced back east. He had a 6-point in his car, but he was doing 150, and they let him race. Whose fault is that?
That's our fault.
Well,
For letting him race.
yeah. By the mile per hour standard, it changed it. But if he was running 9s, then he should have had an 850 cage in the car. But you know what I'm saying? I get it. There's wills in a way, and to the thing that you say. If you look at NHRA the way it is, it's too expensive for those guys to race on a corporate level. How's it going to be for these kids?
Yeah.
Exactly what
I mean, is this getting out of fucking control? Are we trying to make these kids conform to a class rule or something? But I don't know, maybe you got to find some different way to get, you know, really what it's about. Honestly, it's great to go and watch the professional guys or us guys and go on 9s and stuff, but I hate to say it, but we didn't pay the bills.
No.
The fucking kids in that bracket lane are the ones that paid the bills. And I know that, not just from a racer standpoint, I know that as a promoter. I know what it took to pay the bills for the event. I had successful events.
Yeah.
I threw events up until I felt like the industry didn't need me anymore, because like Chris from DRN was coming out, Streaks Track was getting involved, and it was like honestly, I like to be in a racer more.
Yeah.
You know, I really did. You know,
I don't wanna
it fucking
thing.
sucked to have some guy fucking screaming in your
I was
ear.
gonna say, I remember,
You know,
advanced
at your
watching
race, you know, fuck you, I didn't, like, wait a minute, I threw a 2-day event, okay? I gave you 4 fucking chances to qualify, not 2. I gave you 2 days. I couldn't hear. What do you mean you couldn't hear? I didn't drive around in my golf cart and tell everybody, hey, next round's coming up, this, that, and the other. And I got screamed and yelled at. And I had an unfortunate dealing with the track where it ended up costing us twice what we were quoted. It just kind of took the fun out of it. I mean, we had one night when we brought everybody in on a Saturday. Like, hey, you know, I care so much about the sport to the point where we thought about it in a matter of, what is the easiest way to get these people in? What's the best possible way for these people to have as much fun as possible? What is and we incurred the cost of a 2-day fee or a 1.5-day fee, so that way you'd have time to get a couple of qualifiers in, you know, the day before, or 3 the day before, and I think we did 1 in the morning on Sunday. And you wanted to know that like you said, people could go around in the pits, and I think
as a racer,
that is what is missing. Is these 1-day events?
I was just about to ask that.
It's not fucking practical. Who wants to drive all the way from Las Vegas to come to Sacramento for a 1-day event? Who wants to go to LA? Yeah, because I'll tell you, if I fucking leave on a Friday night and I go to a Saturday event, I lost my whole weekend going to do that, and that's why it's not as fun anymore. If you could have a weekend event like what we do, we would try to do it, even if we would have to say, hey, you know what, can we combine our qualifying with your Friday night test and tune?
Yeah.
Okay, and I did that. We did whatever we could to make it a weekend thing. Everybody else is just thinking about it as a business, what it took to make the money. We passed up a lot of money on Friday night to have qualifying on Friday night and have our clients come and spend money to watch test and tune so they can see our qualifying.
Yeah.
But those are the things that you do as a promoter. I think the promoter loses all that in the sense of everything that he also has to remember that like, hey, I got this guy coming from Florida. Hey, I got this. Who fuck cares? Honestly, you're going to get more people in the stands if you get more local kids out there. Honestly, these promoters should be out there promoting the street races.
So that's kind of the shitty part to me. Like, I see that where,
Well,
just for example, like what DRN or IFO was?
Coming
Well, hold on. Was it IFO or DFR when Aki came here?
IFO.
So Aki
Went to
came
the
here,
IFO.
and it blew up. Everyone wanted to go watch hockey because it was someone from the other, coast. Yeah, he had a big name at the time, so everyone wanted to see him. But I'm just saying, it was a racer from the East Coast.
No, when he was there, I went up and said, hey, what's up?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Why are you going to put your money into having someone from the other coast come when you could put your money into a 2-day event or local racers or whatever? I mean, you can make that big number
The focus is, what does it take to put people and get people interested in the stands?
Yeah.
You have to start at the grassroots level.
Yep.
The kids that are out there thinking that it's better to be out street racing, you have to get them involved. Today's kid would rather go and spend the money street racing on his eBay turbo kit making 335 horsepower or sneaking over to the strip than going and putting the money into it because he doesn't have to show up with safety equipment.
So we talked about that the other day too. What would you, how would you feel about almost like a Street Outlaws, like a no prep series, where you could rent the track for a night and literally let anybody come race? Doesn't matter if you have a belly pan, doesn't matter if you have eBay
You have a
shit.
shit show.
Huh?
You have a shit show.
You don't street racing, it'd be the same shit.
Yeah,
It would just
street
be in a
racing-
controlled
street racing,
area.
if someone oils down a lane, you just
You
go find
leave,
another road.
you go find another road.
Exactly. But you
you're-
could,
okay,
I'm just saying it would be a street race type in a controlled environment.
No, but like how they got Eagle Field today going on. That's like a little eighth, but it's like on somebody's property and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or there's the whatchamacallit field, and then there's the Crow's Landing where they have all these events and they fuck it up,
Mm-hmm.
But really to get back to the point of it, guys, is that in order to do it, you got to. The kids aren't coming anymore. It's not like it used to be. The parking lots used to be packed.
Yeah.
Okay, they used to started using secondaries like when they have some of the boaty events.
Yep.
What does it take to do that? You know what it takes? Here, let's go and set up a parking lot and let them go out and fucking swing donuts in a parking lot.
Well, and that's what Sax Beach Hop's event. He literally sold out the entire track.
in how many minutes?
It was 45 minutes that
they
track.
got shut down by the police.
I know, but like you said,
But
it
that
takes,
sickens me.
It
That
takes,
sickens me.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you serious?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
They're trying to do it the right way, and it still gets shut down.
Well, no, that they're doing it the right way, but I mean.
But I'm just saying, it's like you said. They want.
Honestly, guys, I went out and did something new a couple of weeks ago. I fucking dirt raced a car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
seen that.
Honestly, dude, it's a bucket list.
Oh, it's fun as hell.
Fucking first time and probably last time. I won't build one to do it. I wasn't that interested. I had a blast. Don't get me wrong. And it was different to see. And I never knew you could pitch a fucking Honda like that, bro. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't even a Honda. It was a fucking Cavalier. And just to show you, give you guys a little bit of my experience with it. That one day, it was fun. I just went into this car not knowing what to do, and you go out and you go down and you pack the mud. So you go around and you drive around and you help pack the mud. I didn't know I was supposed to be moving over, so I started getting it because I didn't know. I had no clue. I just got thrown into this, and then I jumped in the car and we did hot laps. It was like qualifying, and I ended up qualifying second.
Nice.
And you go in and I'm in a Cavalier and doesn't have Honda gearing. It doesn't drive like a Honda. It's fat as a pig. And you swear to God, you take this thing in like a rear-wheel drive car and you flick it sideways and you got the thing crossed up all the way and you come out, and as soon as you're coming out of the turn, it's already hitting rev limiter in second gear. So after the first couple laps of hitting rev limiter, I said, hey, I'm going to have to start hitting third. So every time I'd go into a corner, I'd bang this thing from second, bang it, slap it sideways and do it, and I did it, and I took third place in the event. I had fun. And it's something like if they said, hey, I got the car, I'll do it, I'm not going to build one to do it. It was fun. But there's so many different forms of racing.
Oh, yeah.
But, why doesn't it interest kids to go to the track instead of going and risking their life at the street? I just don't get it. The community.
Well, here you go. This guy believes in street more than track. What makes you? I'm just saying you support the street race.
I'm changing over, but like I was saying earlier, I started in what?
I started in the street,
Nice.
just like
starts.
you did.
And to be honest, I didn't.
I started in the real streets in San Jose, California. Boy, when fucking drag racing was for shit.
Right.
5,000, 10,000 people a night. I'm talking no fucking bullshit. 7 tracks, 8 tracks. There were so many fucking races going on at the same time that they couldn't even keep up with it. You just go to another track.
Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, I was intimidated of the track because of not knowing rules and not knowing this, and I didn't want to go out there and be so. At the time, I had a single cam.
No, but I understand what you're saying. But there shouldn't be any route, you know. And I was too. The first time I raced my car, about peed my pants at the track.
Oh, when I went H2B,
I think I sat on the two-step the whole way down the track. Okay.
You know, I went H2B, and then my first time at the track, like, you know, we explained in the previous podcast, the first time I did, I went there as a spectator. Second time I went, I actually drove my car there.
Right.
Then the third time, because I want to make sure my car will fucking get there first.
Right.
And then the third time, I took it on a trailer, and I raced. But the night before, I was watching videos on how to stage, how to, you know, get everything ready. So
Get prepared.
So I didn't look at the moron.
You all are lucky you have that. I don't have that shit.
Yeah,
we didn't have.
Like, you know what? You know where we come from? We come from Honda Tech. Honda
See, I
Tech.
came at the end of
A-Train, what's up?
Right.
You know, and that's OG. That's old shit.
Yeah,
That's back in the 90s.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
When I started racing, I actually, you know how I really got into this sport was, the crazy thing is I was doing stereos for a couple of the guys from Kasuku. I did their Mitsubishi Eclipse and their Supra, the fiberglass badass, and it kind of put me in the limelight in the car show thing. And I bought my first 1998 Integra that I seen at the car show when I was there. Hopkins Acura in Redwood City had it. It was badass Comtech red Integra. And I bought the car. It still sits in the back of the shop. 27,000 miles on it.
Shit.
I'm not dying. I'm not bullshitting you.
Is that the one that's right here on the side?
The one with the candy engine
yeah,
bay,
yeah,
everything?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other bullshit story. But that's what started this shit for me, and then I bought that Integra, and you know, but that's what I'm saying. Guy, today's street racer, you guys, like, if you guys continue to do this street racing, it's gonna change this, it's gonna change this industry for the worse. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna, drag racing will go. You don't understand. If you guys continue to do this stuff on the street and don't help further the industry, it's never going to change, guys. It's just, this is the thing.
That was another thing I noticed too.
They have to support, when these events come, they have to support it. But the big thing is if you don't give enough time in between these events, they're too few and far between, and it's...
One thing real quick, as, you know, if you're a street racer, you know, and like I said, I was intimidated. I finally got over the bug, and I just fucking went. And now I've hit almost ever since I went. I've only missed one winter warm-up. I've been to every fucking event
That's
since then.
not an event, anyways.
But my point is that they host at Sac Raceway.
Okay,
you can't knock me for being at this time.
No.
My point is, I put the time. I've been at every event, and have I not been progressing? And I got bit. Look, we're going to Drag Race Nationals this week, the weekend. My first time venturing out to another track.
Yeah.
I want to do the points to travel like these guys did, so I'm making a move. And just make the fucking move and go to the track for one time.
support him.
Yep.
Make the
It
track.
doesn't matter who it is or whatever. If you can, support them.
Support me. Support your other buddies. Support the other guys
That's the
that
thing
we
too.
watch.
You're not going to get a better track, bigger track, or people that care about the track if you don't support your local track.
No, for sure. But what I'm saying is
honestly,
just make the
but
move
you know
to
what?
go.
Where we were, what we were talking about earlier, though, it is like a key. How can this industry get back to the heydays? The only way to get back to the heydays is through the kids.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How can we get the youth? I try, because I have a lot, a lot of people look for me in street racing because I'm still active in the streets, and I use that for fun, in a sense, and I use it in between. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still do it. And Chad, if I could tell you how many times people call me on a Friday night or Friday afternoon, what's going on tonight? Where the runs at? Where the runs at? I get blown up. I have to do something to keep these people going, because I would much rather than be in a bar drinking and gangbang, do something. I'd rather be on the street.
No,
It's a little
absolutely.
bit better.
No,
but
hey.
I figure it's a way to get them started to following my path to where I'm following your path to do that, right? My thing is, you guys need to take the, how can we? I can see the youth. I know you see the youth coming here. What can we do to get these kids to go into the track and to take that final move and get in the track and get the bite like I did, where all you want to do is can't wait to make your next hit on the track,
Yeah.
Where you watch your videos over and
But
over.
you know, it's
and
like you say, you're speaking of your generation and the
It's
stuff
different,
and everything.
yeah.
It's different, and what's different now that I know, it's different in different places. Like Modesto, like best thing I did was move to Modesto, and the worst thing I did was move to Modesto. You know what I'm saying? It's different out here. Modesto is different. These kids aren't racers here. They're not. They're a different kind of racer. They're.
I can speak my own opinions on Modesto.
They're a millennial racer out here. They ain't even. They go to the same fucking place. They go fucking do donuts at fucking In-N-Out and ruin the spot. Disrespect the meats. It's fucking stupid.
I've been to jail out here, and I promised myself, I made a vow to myself and my family, I would never street race in Modesto again. Do you know why?
Why?
Because we used to come out here all the time.
Right.
But the thing is, you would go to the meetup spot,
Right.
2, 3 fucking 100 cars.
Right.
You would go to the race spot, 100 cars, 75 cars, right?
Yeah.
3 cars racing each other over and over and over. Everyone else is standing there going like this.
Spectators, filming.
Right.
But they got a Honda themselves. So
Right.
if anybody who watches this and knows me at my runs, run what you brung. If it's your first time, you got to race. I don't care if you
That's
got a
what I'm
single
saying.
cam stock. At least race once. Get it. You're there to race. At least.
Today's racers, they want to come watch. There's more kids that
And they're
want to be
scared to
about
lose.
It's all about social
that too.
media.
No,
They want their
no,
fucking
Fizz, I don't
phone
want to
out.
race. Just
But it
fucking
ain't
race.
even just that. Some of them are scared. You know, whatever the deal is. But the thing is, I don't know. Today's generation is different.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
what
different.
What can someone of my stature who sees that, but also seeing some of what you guys have, trying to see
Honestly,
how did
that's
you
what
guys
I'm
do it so I
trying to
can
get back
try
to
answer
explaining it to the way it was is that I don't want to say that this is dying, but it is.
No, for sure.
It is. It's because of the way that people look at it, and I think the way it is now is it's time to educate.
Hence the word, the way all gas podcasts. That's what we created this for.
Educate, and tell kids like, look, you know, if you really want to be serious about this, like we built race cars.
That was another thing I was going to touch on with this subject. With you still having that red Integra, that's the original car. Kids don't do that anymore. People will buy a car, sell it, buy a car, wreck it, get it impounded, whatever. They don't hold on to the thing and build for
there
4
are
or
6
5
race
years.
cars on this product, on this.
Yeah.
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the Integra. There's the orange Integra. That's the barbershop Integra that I drove.
Yep.
That was, we street raced it when we first started. Okay. Then there was, like I said, Stewie's car. Then the Crazy Train.
Yeah.
After the Crazy Train came the CRX.
Yeah.
CRX still sitting back there, ready to put a K-Series in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the car, the Murder Civic that Kubo drove.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the car that I built for Lisa, which became the red Integra that I currently drive.
Yep.
Okay. I have them all.
That's what I'm saying. Kids don't do that anymore. You literally have a kid that'll go buy a bunch of eBay shit, throw it on, blow it up, buy another one, blow it up, buy it on, get rid of the car, build another car. They don't hold on and keep building for something to get to.
You know,
I don't know if it's just that it's just not close enough, but fuck, we're in Modesto, and we're only an hour from the track. I was in San Jose, and I used to drive from San Jose to go to Sacramento. So it wasn't the drive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to drive to fucking Englishtown, New Jersey to go make fucking at the best 7 passes.
Yeah.
If I was going to win the event,
Yeah.
I would make 7 passes.
We're about to drive 8 hours to LA for probably 4 passes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why?
Love
Culture.
Love the sport.
No, the
well,
culture.
because I love it and I want to keep doing
Right,
it.
but what happened to the culture?
They don't. You know, I think they don't want it as much as
No,
like
you
I do.
guys,
I want it
our
bad.
millennial world has taken the culture and changed it from go drag racing and do it legally and legitimately, even though we still street raced.
Yeah.
We did it like this.
So
But
you think
today's culture would rather have fucking meets
car meets in a hard
in a
park
fucking park.
We'd rather sit there and park and start a car.
and stare at the car. And you know what's crazy is that a lot of those dudes, they have. I don't want to sound like a fucking hater, but it drives me fucking nuts. And I'm cussing, and I shouldn't, but a fucking stock ass fucking 2017 Civic with lowering springs on stock rims. That dude will have HIDs in his car and will have fucking 30,000 followers. And all he does is post the same fucking picture of his car at a different angle. And all it is a stock car slammed on coilovers.
Today's culture.
It's fucking retarded.
Today's culture.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you look at meets. When I was a kid, we would go to McHenry, we would go to Sunrise, and you would have little parking lot meets, cruise up and down the road, and then you would go race.
Go race.
It wasn't just, oh, we're gonna park here, look at our car, and then do some fucking sideshows, go home. No.
Not
Well,
even
like I said,
Sideshows,
these
they-
guys will do the same thing. They'll go to a parking lot, meet, fuck up the parking lot.
Yep.
Like, dude, I went my G35 one day, and I'm cruising down Palindale, and I get this guy in this fucking brand new Mustang goes by me, was racing. I was like, I know this fucking road is packed full of cops right now. So I get there and I fucking watch the kid go, and he fucking lights it up. Then gets it sideways, and he goes and he fucking hits it, and he fucking hits one of those islands in the middle of the parking lot and launches this bitch like 6 feet in the air and goes and drives off. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference.
there's a time and a place.
Oh fuck yeah, there's.
That's
We
what
talked
they
about
are.
this the other night.
That's what these people need to understand. The time and the time and place for it. There it is. Bless you, bless you.
All right, well, since you keep mentioning these little pistons on the table, you want to get into that subject and talk about these little guys?
Yeah.
Should I go zoom in the camera a little bit?
No, it's all right. I got a couple of pistons here in my hand. These are for a well-known company that proud to call a sponsor for like a lot of years. Arius Pistons, who's been recently purchased by CP.
Yep.
And it's great that they still have a place, and my friends still have a place to work, and this name is still here. We still support Arius. We still will support Barry at Trum. But was put on blast not too long ago about someone trying to say that I installed some pistons backwards in a motor. And it's kind of funny because I've been doing this for 20 years and I do it in my sleep. And hasn't changed for the 50 years that they were open. Well, here you can't see it, but it says Arius Pistons and it's on the intake side. When we hang our pistons, we always put the exhaust tang on the exhaust side. So it's not like, like I said, I do this shit in my sleep. Someone said I installed some pistons, but everybody makes mistakes, But so like I said, we installed a tang on the exhaust side, always. Sometimes we have dual tangs, so that could change too. So, anyways, I was quoted that I put the pistons in backwards, but it was funny that it was quote unquote this motor that I put the pistons in backwards. Motor made like 560 on my dyno and ended up making like 6 something on their dyno. But they came and quoted. It was just funny because you were telling me the same story that these guys put in pistons backwards at the same shop.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what I'm showing you here is we don't always hang all of our pistons. Sometimes with our race motors, Earl does a lot of our machining and stuff like that. He'll actually hand me back parts that are already assembled.
Yeah.
Pistons that are already hung on the rod and everything. So, can you tell me which side that is?
Just by looking at the top?
By looking at the top.
No.
You can't really, huh?
No.
Intake and exhaust are fucking dead on the same.
Yeah. On the mini dome, yeah, you can't tell the difference.
Would you believe that's a turbo piston?
Oh yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's my turbo piston. There's one of our old motor pistons from back in the day when we used to run pro stock.
Yeah.
But that's the difference, guys. Now, let me say something about this. All you guys out there running these little stock motor setups. Set of pistons costs about 450 to 520 bucks. Pair of rods, 325 bucks. You can make 800 horsepower on this shit.
Yep.
Stop trying to fucking run all these stock motors and blowing them up and coming back 10 times, because if you just build one, you'd save yourself.
I say you want to grab the stock one behind you and show you what stock one does when you try to make 800.
This is actually a hydrolock motor. But
Oh yeah. But for example.
this is a cast piston. And I'll tell you, this cast piston's good for 400 at a B20 VTEC. Cast piston on an LS, about 360. Don't get me wrong, I just tuned somebody's fucking car to 475 the other day with some fucking Type R fucking pistons on some stock rods, and I don't know why it's still alive, but I know my limits, and I know how it is when I'm tuning, and guys, if you're gonna build a motor, spend the time, put some of these in, have some fun with your slugs. Use E85 because E85 saves you money. You see the price of gas these days? E85, 20%. It'll save yourself about 20%.
And
And it'll save the motors.
Yeah. I mean, no knock fuel, clean fuel.
Hey, you can't be 85. The 85 has a octane rating, supposedly 1.8 or 1.8 or higher or whatever. But you can't get that from pump gas.
No.
Okay?
No way.
Yeah, it's a dirty fuel. Yeah, you got to keep up with it. Yeah, you got to change your oil more. Yeah, you got to use certain oils because I'm gonna give you guys a couple free games. For all you guys out there using those black factory oil pans for your ethanol motors, change them. Okay? There's a reason why I'm telling you to change them because ethanol is corrosive and it eats those pans and it eats the coating that is on that pan and it'll clog your oil filter.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of free game for you right there. A lot of people haven't misunderstood that they need to change all these things in their car to run ethanol. No, you need an injector and a fuel pump, preferably an E85 pump because it'll run longer than that old 255 Walbro.
That pump's gangster.
Yeah, they still work though. Don't get me wrong. I still got guys that come in and they still run like champ. E85 isn't necessary in your stock all motor Honda. Okay. Definitely is an advantage though if you're going to run boost. If you don't have the capability of running boost, we do tune flex fuel. We offer the units here in stock.
What's your preference? You running the AEM or you running the GM?
We're actually running the Innovate.
Okay.
The Innovate system, like I said, that 4-in-1.
Yep.
That 4-in-1, it fucking does the whole thing for you, and now you have a car. Now, don't get me wrong. The software is to me is backwards because flex fuel is meant to be tuned. Well, you can tune it on gas, and then you switch to E85, and then there's differences. Well, who the fuck's going to tune their gas car to 22 pounds of boost on gas? John. Sorry,
Just
Jay.
saying.
Just saying. Anyways. But that's the thing is, honestly, we're trying to get them to invert the software so that way we can use it backwards because most people are going to want to run E85 as a primary and gasoline as a secondary because sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere and those are the things that like hey. There's a lot of guys out there that just tune. There's a lot of guys that get into the ethics and the engineering and everything of it. And I operate. You tell me anybody else in this industry except for a few people that build their fucking car from start to finish. I do the cages in my car. I build the front ends in my fucking car. Only thing I don't do is fucking paint my own car.
So we talked about that. I think the last track event, and I've said this for a few years now. And I'm not knocking any company. I actually like a lot of these companies. But you go to the track and you'll see, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 with a Sheepy intercooler or a Speed Factory intercooler or a Whitfield cage or, it's all this, it's all a copy-paste build.
But then you can't call it copy-paste because it's the products that are available. And the cool thing is that it's our community that is producing all of this stuff.
But that's why I said, the shop that can do top to bottom.
But should have bought it here, should have bought it only here, this, that, and the other. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what? You want to help your guys' local community, your local thing. And I've always fucking said this from day one. Support your fucking local shop. Because the one day that you're going to want to go there, he's not there anymore because you didn't support him. That's the difference. I've always been an advocate of that. Support your local shop. But if he can't do it for you, go to somebody who can.
Okay. I agree 100%.
It's like stop going by nobody.
Well, they have smaller places that are like, I don't want to say wannabe, but they do, they're
no one's on your statue
not
doing anything like this. Performance-wise, there's nothing there.
No.
So
there hasn't been for a while, and there's the gap is to Sacramento, but there's a lot of places. Let's throw out some shots right now, okay? There are capable shops in the area, okay? Red Zone was a good tuning shop before, they still tune. Jeremy does it. Jeremy does some tuning here. Jeremy will be doing some tuning from our new location as our network. You know, like I said, I opened up a map that Edwin tuned on a S300 the other day that came from a client. And, you know, I got to throw Edwin out some props because it looked like a good map. It looked like a guy that cared about his final product.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was tuned through the middle and it, like I said, looked like, it looked like an earthquake on the rest of it or this, that, or other. It doesn't look like he used somebody else's base map. It looked like he has his own, okay? You know, and
I don't know anyway.
I'm not getting, I don't fucking mention names or whatever, but you know,
That's a nice guy,
right?
for a long time,
nice
you know,
tagger,
I learned off of Ryan from Tech 3. I mean, really, if you want to know where I learned to tune from, Artie, who used to tune for me, I learned a lot of the basics from him. I went to school. I got my little stupid college degree at fucking Temecula. What was it? I forget the EFI 101.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what I learned in EFI 101? Shit. Okay, I learned about why a map sensor does this, that, and the other. That's what the beginner class did for me. Okay, but I had some cool friends that I met there. You know, that day. Did I take the advanced class? No. Why? Because I already owned a dyno. Okay, my advanced class was my dyno that I did every day. So, in learning through that process, okay, that's how I learned to do it, but it was also through a customer service base of taking care of my clients, okay? Because there's not a client that comes in here, except for maybe I got like 10 people that like to, oh, you charged me $150 to clean my spark plugs. Well, you're a fucking idiot if you paid $150 for me to clean your spark plugs, okay? Sorry. Hey, you know what? I get the stupidest things that, you know what, like you know what? I've made 99% of my clients happy. And I know that. I work hard for my clients. I work overtime for my clients. And that's the thing is I'm only one person. I wish there could be 10 of me, and you all might hate that, but at least there would be 10 more of me getting fucking shit done.
Shit, I remember when I did my LS swap and my injectors were clogged, and I called you, I think it was a Sunday night, and you were like, yeah, come through. You're like, I'll be at the shop in 20
I
minutes.
don't see a hat, but I could put yours on, and I can wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We're going to work on making a team now of people. You look at the model, okay? Speed Factory boys, hey, you hear that, I should have bought it at Speed Factory. Ah, fuck that. You support your local fucking shop. But those guys are some bomb-ass dudes.
Yeah, they are.
Okay? They have a fucking team of really good people. One of my teammates, Zach from Sinister,
Yep.
you know, works up there.
Yep.
They have a fucking team. Hey, you know what? You walk down the hallways of Speed Factory and you see my car on the wall.
Yep.
Because they helped build my car. Not only a lot of people know, but the red car, that was the silver car that was on the front page Import Tuner, when Lisa was going to drive it, that Ricky from Speed Factory, I flew him out, he finished the whole car, helped me make it to SEMA on time with a car that still didn't run, sorry everybody, but hey, that was fucking, those were those days. I'm 50 years old, I'm not 20 years old anymore, I don't do it like I used to. My 30s to my 40s, I slept 4 hours. Now I have to sleep 8 to 10 hours, and you know, it's different. But that's the thing is, I don't see today's kids being like we were.
No.
I don't see it. And like I said, it goes back to the old thing, the electric car, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, how much longer? I mean, honestly, guys, in order for us to save this community, we have to band together as a community.
Yeah.
All the street racers, everybody, we got to do everything to support the events, because when you don't support the events, the promoters don't make any money, and the promoters either quit or they don't come back to your town, because it is money.
Oh yeah.
If you look at Cliff, IFO, he's about his fucking money.
Oh yeah.
Does he have a lot of rules and this, that, and the other? It's kind of run what you brung, sorta. But he's got a good model, and he goes all over the place, and he makes a lot of money.
Well,
do you think that Lamborghini and that GTR and that Type R in the garage came from him fucking sitting at home doing real estate?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well, that's like the guy that throws the.
He's a hustler.
That's the guy that throws the OGS events. He gets so. Hold on. I'm just saying. He gets so much backlash.
Do you know his background?
Not really. A little bit. But I'm saying he gets.
The Godfather. He used to work for NHRA.
Yeah, yeah.
He. Oh gosh.
Anyway, I'm just saying he gets so much backlash, but at the end of the day, he flat out says online, he's like, fuck all you guys. It's my event. I put my event on how I like.
Hey, that's what happens when you're the fucking godfather of fucking E-Town. Okay? Now E-Town ain't there, but H-Day and this, that, and the other. Javier, you know, God bless him for doing what he does. You know, whatever. You can't fucking hate the player, hate the game, whatever, you know, whatever. The guy had a good hustle, and it works back there. Why? Because the East Coast got tracks. Oh, yeah. California, we ain't got tracks. Sonoma, don't want us. Bakersfield, can't get a hold of Blake. Sacramento, we got a year and a half, a year left at the most. Pomona, they don't let us race there. What else you got? Verona? I'm not going to go to San Diego to go race an 8th mile. Irwindale. God bless my buddies, or Irwindale. Hey, dude, that's so that those poor people don't... Dude, they have a quarter-mile track at the Fairplex in Pomona and can't even race there. Yep. 12 events. Why? Because all the silverheads that live around. Yep. Okay? They don't want our tracks. Guys, you don't understand. Yep. You keep fucking this up. You keep supporting parking lot pack, this, that, and the other. These tracks are going to be gone. They're going to, you know, it's different. Yeah. And I'm sorry, guys, if I act like a know-it-all or I just forgive me, but I got my stripes, motherfucker. This gray hair right here. I'm 50 years old, and I've been through a lot of this. And you can love me, or you can hate me, or you can just like me. I don't care. And this is my opinion. And hey, everybody's got an opinion, but my opinion is if somebody doesn't step up soon and figure out a way to get everybody involved and keep everybody involved, and what I mean is in a point series, a way to find TV coverage, magazine coverage, internet coverage, podcast coverage.
Well, that's the thing everything. Too. So back when you big time racing, you had sponsors outside of just the import community. There was energy drinks, you know. There was, you know, the people.
Dude, one of the guys' fucking dads worked for a porn company.
That's what I'm saying. But nowadays, your only sponsors
What's up, Jared?
But your only sponsors are Speed Factor, your FCS.
Well, but the thing is, you guys, is there aren't people around like Lisa Kubo.
Yeah, there's not.
Like Sean Carlson. Adam Saratari, I saw his name come up yesterday. Flaco, Abel Ibarra, you know, Arcelanian Street Glow Cars, Vinny fucking 10, the do your fucking due diligence. That's the guy. When you hear me say do your diligence, that's who that comes from.
Well, that was like the other day.
Watch videos on Vinny 10. You want to see a real motherfucker? That's who. Hey. They robbed those fools. Nope, they were up. I gotta tell you all the story. I gotta tell you all the story. Give me a minute. Now we're gonna go off track here for a minute. Okay. We were in Ontario, California. In George, Ionu, Vinny 10, Arcelani, and Craig Paisley. We're in a parking lot. Then these 4 homeboys pull up. And it's like the Toyota Camry, all darked out windows, and they roll it down. They're like, "Yo, what's up?" And Vinny 10 goes, "Hey, what the fuck? How you doing?" You know? They were like, not much, this, that, and the other. 10 minutes later, 4 of the fucking Nopi guys were robbed.
What the hell?
At gunpoint in their rooms. Same guys, but they pulled up on these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They heard Vinny.
How you doing?
How you doing? They didn't fuck with those dudes. They were like, nah, these are wrong cats. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know what? There's people in our industry that we learned some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Miles Batista.
Yep.
Jojo Kalos. You know, even though he was a prick and he was he fucked a lot of people and whatnot, he came up with every one of these front ends was Jojo's idea. Okay.
Well, that was like the other day. I mean, everybody throws out Stephen's name. Or Stephen.
Papadakis. Yeah. Creator, him and Sean Carlson and Lisa and Miles and
well, that was like,
Tony Fuchs.
I got put on game the other day that I didn't even know that Whitfield was part of Stephen's camp. I didn't even know that Whitfield was...
Well, what do you mean, Carlson?
No, Jason Whitfield. That him and Carlson was part of Stephen's builds. In a sense.
Well, you know, Sean, from my understanding, Sean and Jason were good friends and did their thing. And but Sean did a lot of stuff, and I think it was kind of a separated thing a little bit. But,
Okay.
No, Jason.
I mean, we're gonna sit down with Jason. He was talking about this, so.
Me and Jason didn't get along for a long time.
Yeah.
And we didn't see eye to eye. Today we we're okay. We call each other, and and so on. He's expensive, but whatever. Right? We all gotta make our money. It's the hustle.
Yep.
Yep. The thing is I just want to find a place in this industry and be known as not only as and don't get me wrong, I'm OG, I'm old, but I'm older than the OGs.
Yeah.
Which is the funny thing is that the OGs are in their 40s right now.
Yeah.
I'm 50. I'm older than these. I'm older than Miles. Like Charles. I think Charles and Miles are up there and close to my age, but they were all younger than me. But I came in my 30s in the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
These guys were all active in the 90s.
Yeah.
I was street racing in 97 and 98.
Yeah. Well, that's like a lot of times. I think it's funny to me because I'll mention Lisa's name and people are like, "Who's that?"
It blows my mind that people don't know it.
But then you say,
I'm young, but then
you say, go Google Lisa's name. She is the very first 7 seconds.
She's the queen.
Yeah.
Of import.
Well, that's the part that cracks me up. There's this new girl. Well, I guess she's not new, but the queen of B series.
Queen B series.
And it makes me laugh. She's the first B series of a female in the 90s. So it's one of those records.
Who?
Exactly. It's
for a female beat what in the 90s?
Yeah.
And what kind of car? Is this one of this? Did she have like a Barbie chassis with a B series in it?
So it's one of those. That's another thing that I want to talk to you about. That's all these records.
Oh no!
All these records.
That's what I'm getting at.
All these records of I had a blue fucking car on a Tuesday with a B series.
Hold on a second. Hey, see that fucking shirt right here? All motor. That's what I was when I started this game. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sorry guys. And you're going to hear this, and I got to say it. Hey, you guys are all cool for running 8 seconds with your nitro fuel, but that ain't all motor.
No, fuck no.
Okay? I'm sorry, that ain't all motor. All motor outlaw, hey, if you guys want to make another class to split the classes more and make it worse, so now there's a regular all motor and all motor, and make the class instead of having 30 cars, now we're going to have 16 here and 12 here, and then the other guys are going to feel, hey, I can't compete here. Come on, guys. This is what fucking happened to the racing, the model, years ago. It was very simple. NHRA had a very good set of rules, and they were very stringent on this is the way it had to be. The cars had to look the same. They had to be 3/4 chassis or this, that, and the other. Today, dude, this is millennial racing.
Yeah, well, that was another thing too. You look at.
But don't get me wrong, guys. It's cool that you guys are going 8 fucking seconds with an all-motor setup. But that is not fucking pro stock. It is not all motor. It is a power fucking adder.
Yep. And
like this, I saw this earlier, and I don't mean to bring up my phone, but I want to bring this up since we're on this topic. I want to get the correct numbers on this. It was posted earlier about a record turbo K car, sport front wheel drive.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert Maps. He went 8-1.
He went 8-1. So it was the first sport front wheel drive K series to go 8-1.
Okay.
Cool.
So
no, that because you know what
does
the
that
B
matter?
series, the B series was rocking it for a while. It's only B series that have done it. But to go 8-1s with a K is different because you know what the K is a dominant motor.
It's still a sport front wheel drive
The K
car.
is a dominant motor, but from what I understood is that there were some turbo restrictions for a while, and now that they gave the K guys some turbo, that is starting to do it. To get noticed as that, yeah. You know what? I used to have some really good friends in Indiana. They're a little known company called Fort Piston. Okay. Who are they?
I've never heard of them.
I used to be really good friends with Luke and Josh, and I miss it, and it's cool that they're doing what they're doing and everything. But you know, I spent some time with them back then. Here, have a clutch, and here's a fuel pump for your car, and you know, I thought we were all friends, and some things happened, you know, and some business stuff and everything, and they're just still doing their thing. But you know, it's like in all these different facets of what these guys are doing these days, you know, and what level and who they're supporting and everything. I mean, man, this industry has come a long way.
Yeah.
But to go and say that, you know, like Luke, you know, used to say, hey, you know, I know the guy that used to have the fastest unibody car with the stock stroke, and he'll sit there and say it, and he'd go, Chad Barber. Back in the day, we ran stock equipment with stock, and we were running 10s with that stuff.
What we're trying to get, what we talk about all the time.
There's too many records.
Too many goddamn fucking.
No, I know, but that's the.
It's like every weekend, every event, there's a new record.
No, but that was like, BC used to claim, oh, I was the fastest unibody stock single cam, or this, that. It's like we don't need a bunch of records for records. You know what? At NHRA, there's two different kinds of records. There's a fucking track record, and there's a national record. Speed and whatever, and that's what it is. There shouldn't be, you know what? That's like, okay, you know what? Everybody's gonna get a participation trophy for showing up.
That's what
we're what the fuck?
That's what we're getting at here.
Like, hey, there's no fucking participation trophies.
That's
you know
what I'm getting at.
Tony at CMI's gave fucking participation trophies. But you know what? It was a respect that kid spent money to come there, and if he made the quarterfinals,
and that's what I say.
He got $75.
I don't want to take anything away from these guys doing this.
No.
Yeah, what they're doing is amazing.
But what I'm saying is we're not handing out fucking ribbons for everybody that fucking participated.
This goes back to what I'm saying is this culture glorifies the wrong shit, I think. Kind of like they glorify the car with the slam shit.
You know what? My worst enemy is this fucking tool right here.
Yeah.
And this is why I changed my number. And you know what's great? My phone hasn't fucking rang once.
Since we've been sitting here.
It's boring. It's boring.
Right.
But I'm okay with boring. You know what? I live in the country now, like on the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to move another 10, 15 miles that way. I like it. I don't like people in my business.
No.
You know what? But, I live my life still on this piece. This is what's wrong with America today. Yeah. You know, my daughter, when she didn't have internet, she cried like a fucking baby, 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with fucking today. You know what? When I fucking didn't have something to do, my fucking parents said, go play in the freeway.
Dude, I grew up playing.
Yeah, I grew up
playing in my front yard with G.I. Joes in a tree. Like, who the fuck is playing with
G.I. Joe?
Right?
Me and my siblings grew up playing outside.
No. I had a Schwinn bike, bro.
I
went out and I ran that motherfucker, with the black mags. It was sick, bro.
You want to know what my swimming pool was as a kid? My trash can.
That's right.
We filled our fucking trash can with water and swam in that motherfucker.
Trash can?
Hey, I was small as a kid.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
You make fun of me.
Did you ever find your neck as a kid?
Nope, still can't. Actually, I had a neck when I was a kid.
No, it is. But like I said, guys, like I said, I want to just, I'm really in touch with today's generations.
Yeah.
I'm friends like with a lot of 20-year-old guys I play soccer with. I'm friends with a lot of 20-year-old guys that I race with, and a lot of.
I feel bad for them kids. Man, you're 20 years old running against a 50-year-old, and he's still keeping up with you.
Y'all better watch out. This old man still got fucking
I feel so bad
hands, feet, and can shift. And I'm gonna show it. You know what? I got in the fucking train the very first day. I hadn't driven that car in like 5 years. It was an all-motor car. And I took a nice easy 930, then I went 870, and I went 840 on the third pass, and then it broke. You know, I know we could have went sevens in that car.
Oh, yeah.
I know we could have went sevens, and that's the thing. We're going to come back out, and we're going to have fun with it, and hopefully we don't break a lot of stuff, because honestly, if I start breaking stuff, I'm going to go to road
races. Can you
educate
me? You just said you went 830s in that one?
840.
Yes, 840.
840. What year did you do that?
I did that 3 years ago.
Okay, what
3 years ago, almost today, like literally about 3.5 months, 3 years and like a half a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the last competitive race. I did a CMI after that, and that was the last time we retired the car after that.
Yep.
Because it just, we'd have to cut it up to make it faster.
Okay.
We broke cert.
So, you went necessarily 840s before the guys on the East Coast did?
No. See, honestly, here's the thing. I went 840s in a hot rod car. Okay? Yeah, it was a hot rod car. I'm going to sit here and say, everybody, you can call it what it was. Okay? It was a hot rod car with my sport front wheel drive setup. My 72 millimeter turbo with the PPG tranny that I saved for a year to buy, and I put my motor in it because Justin had blown it up and running 870s, and the next pass the motor blew. So I took my sport front wheel drive setup, put it in there. Justin was going to drive it. He couldn't go, so I jumped in the car. Okay? It wasn't a competition. It never has been. That's my brother in arms. And everything that led to me going that fast in the car was because of what he did with the car prior to that point. And it was a team deal. Like, guys, like, if I'm speaking to you in names or whatever, even if you got like 3 homies and you guys got like 3 straight cars, this, that, and the other, start building race cars. You want to bring this culture back?
Build a race car.
Buy a race car from an old racer like me,
See, and that was
or
the thing.
build a car and help the culture. Don't be a part of going out and participating in street racing, this, that, and the other. That's why I don't even really go out. I don't even watch it.
So, you were saying earlier, like, there's some of your team members that you haven't even spoken to.
Right.
I think it was Justin that posted a picture the other day, and it was the entire team in front of the trailer at the track, and there was fucking 100 of you guys.
We got 100.
And that's what I'm saying. It's
100 people.
It's crazy
with Sinister
to see, and that plays into the generation thing, where where it was 100 deep at the track every time.
Well, that was Sinister, but that's the thing. Is like a lot of people say, and I've heard people make fun of it, and fuck you for making fun of the takeover. Okay, the takeover wasn't about taking over the racing or Sinister taking over and beating everybody, because you know what, Sinister been around doing that for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't a part of Sinister until Sinister banded together as a group, and that was because Sinister was a group full of adults now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I felt like as a kid, you know, my dad being a cop and a fireman, you know, don't fucking tattoo up your body, this, that, and that. You're gonna be a criminal, you know, this, that, and the other. You know, because you know I was a dumb kid, like I said.
Yeah.
I got a tattoo at 42 years old. Okay, and those are my 3 daughters. Okay, and that's what it means. The next tattoo I'm gonna get is gonna be a portrait of my father. You know what I'm saying? And his culture and in the firefighting and the protect and serve. You know, and every one of those people deserve that. And for all you little faggots out there that say cops are punks, fuck you. They're just trying to do their job and go home to their kids.
Yep.
So if you got anything to say about that, then fuck you.
Yep. There's some.
We need them.
There's some asshole cops out there, but
they're just regular human beings.
Hey, you know what? There aren't good. Don't get me wrong. You know, they want to go home to their kids. They say that, you know what? If you were put in the same situation and you had some guy that looked like he was firing on you, what are you gonna do?
I'm firing back.
That's right. That's right.
Nice.
They want to go home to their children too. They don't all get to come home.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, my father was never killed in the line of duty, but in 911, I cried. I cried like a bitch for every one of those people, and I still cry for those people today, and those firemen that ran into that building.
You knew the feeling of that could be your dad at any point.
I could. And I cried to my dad, and my dad goes, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "You know, I'm an emotional person.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you'll get. You know, is, hey, you may catch a tear coming out of my eye. You may catch a fucking growl coming out of my mouth, and I'm not afraid. You know what? I'm 50 years old, and I've been in maybe 1 or 2 fights in my life. I'm not a fighter, but I'm not afraid to fight. No. If you want to fucking sock me, go ahead and fuking sock me. You know, go have at it. But I'm not some little bitch." Huh?
What's the age that you can't hit a senior citizen?
Ah! Hey, I ain't there. I just turned 50, but don't get it twisted.
You got your AARP card yet?
Hey, no. But like now, Sinister. Let's talk about Sinister. Okay.
Who started? What started? When started? When you got into it?
Justin, Greg, and Donnie, I believe, were like they were in Chris.
Okay.
You know, and poor Chris, man. I don't get to see him much anymore, but. You know, Chris is lost, you know. Yeah, he lost soldier, unfortunately. But, you know, the rest of them, Donnie passed away. You know, and there's Greg and Justin. And, you know, there's soldiers out there like Zalo. He's, you know, in federal time, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we used to race, like, back in the day against SVP. Not even when it was DNR, you know what I'm saying? When there was... what were some of the other crews out there? Powerline.
Yeah, Powerline back then, DNR.
Powerline Ryan, shout out Powerline Ryan.
Powerline, you know, it's really...
Like you were talking about Tech 3. Tech 3 came back the other day at the track.
Well, Tech 3,
last event we were at.
Tech 3 it was a shop. That's Chuck.
No, I know, but
you know,
I'm just saying.
He's done sold the shop, but Ryan's still there tuning.
But I'm just saying, they brought out a car last CMI, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, you know, but the whole thing about Sinister coming together as a crew was to create some unity. And if you notice what we did, we created a lot. We brought a lot of people to the track. Our crew would come 100 deep.
Yeah.
You know, when we would
and
go.
They all wore a shirt every time.
Absolutely, we all wore shirts.
Uniform.
Justin, Jay Viz for, you know, big ups for, you know, being the, you know, the prez to the whole deal.
Yeah. We
tried to have like 3 different things, but Jeremy went to Hawaii and Justin had his thing and I had the Valley, but we never really looked at it. We just really more looked at it as just as a big, you know, as a big family. And, you know, some of the guys from different racers just join the crew to be a part of it. Backyard, and John from Speed Stars, and stuff like that, and it's like we're all family, we all still go out racing, but it's sad. It's like I don't know. I hope things change. We're gonna come back next year. I heard, Justin, he's still got his cars. We all have cars sitting around. It's just a matter of life is life in the way or what's going on. And to me now, with the blessings, my father's legacy, we're going to be able to come back, do it for fun, and support. Yeah. And what we're going to try to do is bring education to the market. Yeah. That the whole thing is now for me to try, instead of like, we were all secretive and competitive.
I don't want you to know.
Not knowing. Now I want to tell you everything. I'll tell you, hey, this is how we chain the car down for the suspension. You don't need $1,500, shocks. I'll show you how to do it with $10. I took a kid out to the drag strip and track helped him that day. The kid, I tried to teach him a whole new way to drive. I said, look, when we get out there, you're going to have to preload this car. I want you to be on the two-step and on the brake and have that car lurching. And he fucked up the first 4 times. I said, let me get in the car. And I got in, I had the helmet, and the guy came up to me and he goes, you can't race this car, you're not on the tech card. So I got out, and he got out, and he handled it. And he went 11.3 that day with a stock B20, no VTEC, with like 340 horsepower, 11.2. Now, that teaching him how to do the car wasn't just like, hey, I taught you how to race. I taught him a way to drive the car with stock axles, and run an 11.2 with a stock B20.
We don't need the upgraded 5.9, fucking all that bullshit.
That helps. But you can do it on a baller on a budget. I got guys that do it, but the thing is that when you do it, when you brake, pull over.
Yeah. I don't know. That whole axle thing and other parts, it kind of bugs me.
You can't do it with a race car. You can't do it with a race car.
No.
You shouldn't be out there doing it at a track. If you're a serious racer and you have an 1150 car or faster, you should be on pro style axles.
The only reason I say that whole thing bugs me is because you watch people that'll go to 700 horsepower with a factory axle and not have it. Jeremy was on factory axles for quite some time.
That was just Jeremy. Jeremy was juggling so much different stuff for him, his lady.
But I'm just saying, Jeremy was on stock axles.
But his point is that it can be done.
Yeah, it works.
It can be done.
When you have these companies that are
if you're serious, but why? If you're serious, why?
Yeah.
If you're serious, why go to the track and do it? And that's like we get back into preparation.
Yeah.
And being prepared. When we packed up and left for the East Coast, there were spare motors, spare axles, spare trannies, spare tranny parts.
That's what I told this guy back on DRN. I said, you need a set of axles, you need another tranny, you need this, you need that, you need just to have a back to be prepared for it, just in case.
Okay, now are you driving the car there?
No, we're trailing.
You're trailing it. Then you should have a spare tranny and a spare set of axles because you're serious.
Yep. So, I was gonna say is I'm known for snapping axles. I was known for and blowing up.
Well, you need to learn how to drive.
He's.
The track is one thing, but when you learn, once you get preloading and understanding how to do it, it'll not only change your driving style, but it'll change your lights.
No,
you're ready to go. 100%. You're not front-wheel drive cars. Don't hit. Okay, we're not talking about little Christmas tree light. Okay, participation light. Yeah. We're talking about a 400 tree where it goes full drop. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm just saying. I'm not turning you down.
Hey,
I'm talking to the camera here and the people out there. A pro tree.
I can tell you my time slips. I got 0 numbers in there.
0 numbers on 500 tree.
No.
You see 0 numbers on a fucking 400. You ain't doing fucking 0 numbers on a 400 tree unless you're guessing. I know very few people out there that can do it. One is named Scott Kelly. One is named Norris, was really good at it back in the day. Saul was good. My best ever 400 tree was a 010, and I guessed. If you fucking get a perfect light in an import front wheel drive car, you guessed.
Oh yeah. Never leave on green. You guess your ass off.
Yes.
Yellow mellow, leave on yellow.
But one thing about us, we didn't have the power back in the day. I raced guys like Dr. Charles and BC, and they were like, bro, I didn't know if I was going to catch you. Because, bro, we only went 1070s when they were going 1030s and 1040s.
Yeah.
So we had to make it up on the tree. And we did. and that's the one thing is that I'll still to this day, I'll guarantee you, if you're in the fucking other lane, you better watch out because I'm gonna treat your ass. Well, we're known. Sinister's known for chopping down the tree. You look at Greg. Greg is a fucking beast on the tree.
Yeah.
From Sinister, absolutely.
That guy.
No, I hope to see Greg back out again, and actually in racing with him. I'd like to go out racing with him. I hope he's still building a car. I've lost touch with him, with the whole phone scenario and everything, and I don't know what's going on if he's actually still building a car and whatnot, but. I really hope he is. I'd like to get back out and do some racing.
Speaking on building and future of builds and all this stuff, I've wanted to ask almost every person that we interview, what do you feel or think or see on this all-wheel drive shit?
I'm building a car.
I'm just saying, what?
I'm building a street-all motor car. I just bought two chassis.
New.
I bought two chassis to make new front ends on, and we're going to do 25 3 cages in them. In both of them. I'm going to keep one of them if I'm still having fun drag racing.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to sell them.
Okay.
But we're going to come out with a package that is a proven package that will, if you put one of our 1500 or a JVR or a Norris, 12 to 1500 horsepower motor, that'll go out and it'll run the times that everybody else out there is running with a capable tuner.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, not only the education, but the ability to, we're going to try and bring in some ability to pay the car off, like some financing of we're going to work with some financing companies, so that people can get into the program, and hopefully they're not paying 20%, but I can't control that, whatever they charge. But hey, you know what? We all do this shit on credit cards and shit anyway sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I got into that I don't really want to say name, but there was a finance company that I went through, and it was cool. You could damn near get anything you want. I mean, I got $4,000 wheels and tires.
Yeah.
And if you paid it off in 6 months, it was 0% APR.
Honestly,
it was same as cash.
I see people that come in here and blow up 4 stock motors and could have built one for that and made way much power and everything.
So we had a discussion about that. Speed Factory posted up their billet motor, and some guy knocked the shit out of it. He was like, "That thing's so pointless. That thing's so stupid."
It's not for them.
He was like, "That's
not pointless for them."
So they were like, "Oh, the money you spend on that." I said, "You look at it this way. You build 4 sleeve motors, blow that shit up. You're paying for that billet motor that's not going to blow up."
I don't know how many they've cracked in half, but
you know what I'm saying, though. But that's...
Hey, there's a point when let me tell you guys something, okay? My transmission was $11,000, okay?
You went through a transmission.
My clutch was $1,700, okay? My motors were $3,200. My cylinder head packages were $2,700, $2,800. So, like, when you're hurting stuff consistently, and this is why I stopped racing, okay? It was because I had gone as far as I could, as far as I felt I could with the electronics that I had. I needed to put electronics, the proper electronics in the car to go faster. Yeah. Because blowing up $800 worth of tranny parts every fucking other weekend was ridiculous. But we'd go fast for a minute, and then we'd break it. We'd go fast. And Matt, the owner of the Ace of Spades that I built, is dealing with the same thing right now. He hasn't brought it out because he's testing and he's dealing with the G-Force. He's gone 930s like I did.
No, yeah, I remember.
Randy tunes the car.
That's a beautiful car.
I've never seen it.
I just wish we had painted that car. It's still supposed to get painted.
Past one I helped work on here, I had never seen it. And that's why I hit him up the other day. I was like, "Man, whatever happened to that car?"
That car was a $75,000 car.
Oh yeah,
and I didn't get to finish it, unfortunately, and it took too long. We ran into some issues with it getting painted and some stuff, but I literally, we sandblasted that chassis, we primered that chassis here, and we painted the inside of it. We did the battleship gray and the engine bay and everything. We set it up for the carbon roof. I mean, like I said, nobody builds cars, so what we want to do, I know Modesto won't be the closest thing, but guys, if you need cars built, we're not just, dude, I build cages, and I don't do, no disrespect to Jason Whitfield, I don't do Whitfield cages. I do custom cages
I remember coming to visit him one day, and he's doing a cage. I was like, how the fuck are you? He's laying upside down, using his fucking knee to hit the pedal, doing one of these. I'm like,
it wasn't easy when I was fucking 230, bud. You know, now that I'm 180, it's not easy.
And that's the difference, though, is you watch someone that goes, once again, not knocking Jason, because he builds great cages, but you watch a company that'll literally buy his cage, put it in a car, weld the base plates, weld the top tube, and you're done.
You can take Jason's cage, and I'm advertising for you, Jason, right now. You can take Jason's cage, if all the prep work's done, and line it up in the car and tack it within 30 minutes.
Yeah, all day. Yep.
And hey, that's great for the budget guy, you know. And you know, he says he hasn't come out with a 25.5 or whatever. He might be putting it together, but honestly, I don't think that's something that should be becoming a pre-built setup. It really probably shouldn't. It should be something that should be done, taken to a custom, because that's not where guys that are doing 25.3 cages, unless you're a fucking professional welder, you shouldn't be welding it. Because 25.3, you're talking cars that are doing 180 plus.
Yeah, you shouldn't have someone's life like that in your hands.
No. Let's get into the tuners. Let's talk about that thing. Remember, like we were talking about, like back in the day, you know, everybody used to do their own thing, you know, and like when we did. I mean, what's your guys' thought on using other tuners?
I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't really like it because I am one of those people that I want to start my build with one person and finish my build with that same person.
Right.
So they know what's in my car. Because it would be like me coming to you and being like, hey, let's build my motor, put it together,
yeah,
build
but that's
my car.
on the street level. But what do you think about racers using other tuners?
So you're saying kind of how we got some West Coast guys over here and they're getting remote tuners?
So basically, like, say he builds an all-motor car, has you set it up with a base map, has you bring it to a 10-second car, and then he goes and calls, just for example, Jay March, and says, hey, I want to now remote tune my car final at the track.
Well, there's different ways. I mean, honestly, those setups are so volatile now that there is no, they kind of got to be on hand. We've even noticed, like, when we were setting up the AEM Infinity and not having Randy there caused a lot of things. And Trevor helped us get the car started here locally, and I actually had to do the same thing with the Ace of Spades in the program. I know the program pretty well, but I don't know the program well enough to go in there and jog or run in it.
Yeah.
Randy does.
Well,
So when we had Randy tune our car, there was a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Well, I was going to say, I know the last track we went to, or when we went to the last CMI event, Albert was there, and Albert was getting tuned at the track by Jamie.
Jamie wasn't there though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The remote tuning.
No, remote.
No,
but Albus went through 3 tuners.
Yeah.
Albus didn't just have Jamie Marsh.
We also went through different.
He had Randy. I mean, those are we made 405.
Yeah.
On the motor that me and Justin did, and Justin did a bunch of things to it after the fact.
That's when he was on the 106,
we made 405,
right?
I think, on one of the setups. And
he was on
I gave Albs my AEM to put in his car.
Yeah.
You know, just because it's like a team thing, and that's why I say, like, guys, for this culture to continue, like, it's gonna take more of like putting things together as teams and coming together as friends.
When we just interviewed Ryan for Power, and he said the same thing. He was like, I wouldn't have my car if it wasn't for my team. They helped me with my tranny, my motor, my turbo, my tune. You know, it took a team to build my car, and it does. It's very hard for one person to build a car.
It's hard. I do it.
Or even a race
program.
Honestly, ever since he's come
not in today's economy, it's really hard.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it takes a team. It takes a team of friends. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff on my own, and I've beat myself up, you know, whatnot for years. And there's things, and I really realized that, you know, it does. It's got to come from a team, and I think every team, you know, I think honestly, instead of everybody going out and street racing, I think every team should be out there trying to put together a team car and come out and represent as a team and do it legally. And you know, hey, we have these tracks, you know, that we have, you know, like the airstrip, you know, every once in a while. I get that.
You got some stubborn
but every fucking weekend we're going to the track or we're going here, you guys are playing it out.
Yep.
You guys are fucking it up. In this fucking sling it fucking thing, you know what, fuck you motherfuckers. You know, whatever. I mean,
no, like I said, I like it, but I think there's a time and place for everything, like I said.
No, you're fucking up the scene.
Yeah.
You're fucking up the scene. You guys want to do that? Go do it at the fucking Sacramento Raceway at the events and have events. Yeah.
Like I said,
do it in the middle of the fucking freeway and in the middle of fucking Oakland and throw bottles and shooting people.
We did that. So there was one last night just down the street from his house. I was like, I'm gonna drive home, and I was like, I hope this motherfucker hits me. I was like, I'll drive right through that son of a bitch. I hope that motherfucker hits me. Because you shouldn't be doing that shit in the middle of an intersection, in the middle of fucking time when people are just driving through there.
It's a sport. It's a sport to those people. It's just like, drifting, like fucking ice skating, like. I hated that fucking sport. I hated it. I hated it because of what it took away from drag racing.
Yeah.
It took away some of our Bergenholtz and fucking Steph Papadakis, but they went where the money was. You can't blame them. Like guys that went from Honda to fucking GM, they went where the money was.
Yeah.
But you could still go to those guys' pits and ask them for Honda bond.
Oh yeah, all day, all day.
Hey, I'm telling you, this fucking scene, it's never gonna die all the way out, but what's gonna help it to continue? Like I said, it's educational. It's teams coming together. It's everybody, and it's sharing the secrets and the things, and podcasts and things like that.
And I think back on what you were saying with the tuner thing, with the community.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem too. Is a lot of tuners will knock other tuners in a sense of, don't go to them, only stay with me. Where you can't, like you said, you need Randy's help in certain things, or
we use Randy for, like I said, we wanted to run. But the tuners that are out there, shaming other tuners, I don't shame anybody. No. You can be a shitty tuner and be a shitty tuner, okay? Yeah. That's fine.
But that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It takes that community.
If you're not doing your due diligence for your clients, or you're robbing your clients, or you're tuning their cars in 3 passes, that's wrong.
Well, yeah.
Around here we call 3 passes Dino fucking day.
Speaking of, when you reopen, we get another one?
Absolutely. Dino day. Hopefully we'll get our friends from Street to Track out here. Hopefully we'll have a nice toy drive and canned food drive.
Good.
We're going to have some good tacos out here.
Let us know. We'll put on the podcast, put on
Absolutely.
social media, we'll blast it.
You guys can come down and do a podcast that day and have a bunch of specials.
Do a little live and
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime you ever want to get back on the channel, you're more than welcome here.
Guys, speaking of, who would you want to ever see on here? If you could have
Lisa
top
Kubo.
5.
Lisa Kubo. That girl got fucking stories for days.
When I asked her to be on here, she did not stop talking about that.
Lisa
she was like,
Kubo
you need to go
got
talk to
stories
Miles,
for
you need
days.
to go talk to this.
Miles Batista, Steph Papadakis, if you can get him. You probably have to go to LA.
Well, yeah, we're going to
But
LA.
honestly, guys, like what you guys are doing is right, and it kill 10 birds with one stone. While you guys are down there, do a bunch of them.
That's what we were kind of working on.
Work on it. You guys were hitting on some good points. I did my homework. I listened in on the first podcast. I didn't get to catch the second one.
You didn't miss much.
But I saw you guys missed it. Didn't get to have a guest and whatever.
Yeah, no, we were busy working on it.
Hey, and that's the thing. And anytime you guys want to come down, once I get the showroom, if you guys want to do some podcasts, here at the shop, it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
The big thing about this is getting the culture back to where it was. Where was the culture then? We had coverage.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly
what we need now is we need coverage, and you guys are right. You guys can't do it all.
No, for sure.
You guys
That's why we're reaching
out.
You
guys do need to maybe find a guy that's got a camera that could go cover some live events for you guys. And like I said, continue to be proactive in I don't want to shame the street racing world, because like I said, I get it, guys.
We all started there.
Yeah, but if you put your energy into supporting it and knowing what your car does, and I don't know, racing to me is scientific.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
If you're fucking going out there and you're launching your car off your foot and you're just number one, you're gonna get your license taken away. Number 2, you're gonna get tickets when you're out there participating. Mm-hmm. Number 3, one day you're gonna see something you're not gonna want to see. Someone's gonna get hurt. Okay. And that's the thing.
Especially when there's no structure to it.
There's zero. You got people standing in front of the stage line. Okay, I'll tell you, I've wrecked my car. I've never hit a wall racing. But in the orange car, I broke 2 axles in one pass, spun the car out, racing Marissa from LDL at an NHRA event, and ended up 3 inches from the wall. put my car back together that same night and raced the next day and went to the semifinals. But that's the old school dirt way of doing it. That's what I tell these kids. You come prepared, you can go have fun, you can take your tools with you, you can take your slicks with you, you can take a spare tranny and some spare axles, and go out and have fun for a weekend.
Well, and that, I was just about to say, I think that's the good thing about the 2-day events also. When you're qualifying day one, something breaks, you can now fix it over the night and go back to day two.
Hey, who got a? Hey, we used to do that shit on Honda Tech.
All the time.
On Honda Tech.
We did the same thing at CMI too.
I guess they were telling me before Honda
Tech.
Tech, they used to use AIM Instant Messenger.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would, like they had AIM groups.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was Honda Tech, there was B20 VTech, there was, fuck, dude, there was countless little websites like that.
Hey. Sorry, all California life.
And I think that's what, I wish social media could be back like that. There's such a open shit you can reach with social media. It's so,
social media helps and it hurts the industry.
It does. That's what I'm saying, is it, I wish it could be like Honda Tech in a sense.
Honestly, guys, you know what? The values today in living in California, it's terrible and it's hard. It's so hard to live. I mean, in California or anywhere in America, but it's so hard for two parents to raise children, and you know everything's just so inflated now. Fuck, they want to pay $15 an hour to just fucking someone for flipping burgers, and you know
that's why they've been computers now.
Yeah, well, you know that's the problem. Is it's so expensive for parents, and the way you know, like I say this all the time, and you know, like I said, I'm not going to get all political, but I honestly look back on it, and I wish that I could have homeschooled my children.
Yeah. Because
I don't believe what they're teaching in school is in the best interest of all of our children. And the crap they fill them with, their liberal ideals, and you know, and this and that, and so on and so forth. But you know, it's a difference the way, and I see it in my own children, and I love my children dearly. They're all carbon copies of me in a different way, It just goes to show that this is the generation that we have to try to continue to coach this industry properly. You know, and it comes from the new promoters and new everything. And
well, that's like one thing that, like I said in podcast before, I got a lot of young dudes that look up to me. They always ask me for run stuff. But I don't know if I believe you follow me on Instagram, and I post all the time, who has this, who has that. 99% of the time, it's not for me. It's helping somebody else. And I always tell them, hey, if you need help, hit me up. They see me at the race, hey, do you know who has this? Do you know how to do this?
There's good things to that and bad things to that, though. You know, and like I said, if you look in the grassroots way of things, how things go, and this is why it's hard to find mom pop shops. Okay, is that it's getting so, like I said, oh, you should have bought it here, you should have bought it here. Not necessarily. Believe it or not, like there's fabricators and stuff here, there, and everywhere. I can make manifolds. Do I? No. Like there's a lot of things. Do I do my own ECUs? No. I support other companies. Because, you know, you don't have to do everything. If you have somebody that does something well and it suits you, run with that. You don't got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but there's certain things that I didn't like waiting for everybody else, so I bought my own tube bender. I started doing cages. I started making my own parts. All my aluminum stuff, I can do aluminum pretty well. I'm getting down now with the aluminum, stainless, making some badass pieces. You know, I do all my own stuff, but I'll still support Derek at All In Fab or the guys over at Speed Factory, and they had a falling out and whatever. But you know what? They're still all friends of mine, and you know, they're all good people. You know, there's some good people in this industry. You know, the guys over at Wicked One, they're building some wicked cars. You know,
I can't wait to see that.
The guys over at Edwin, he tunes a lot of street cars, and I see that he has the knowledge. You know, not like I'm the best. Like I said, I'm just a seasoned tuner. Of just understanding the numbers and the way it looks. There are guys that are more like engineers, you know, like Randy, and they're like this. They understand the software.
They run the ground.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you would be surprised that this one speaks this one language. All these different programs have a different way of skinning the cat. And like you've got the guy, he's on the AEM, running fucking Chapulin, and then you got Rainby who's on Motec with Cheapy Tune, you know, and then there's the Infinity guys, you know, Randy, they hold the all motor record, you know, so like all these guys have so much different sauce to add to the, you know, to the pot.
I mean, you got Motec, AEM, Chrome, Honda, fucking.
Well, you want to speak in stuff that, you know, you're doing stuff, your everyday stuff is going to be your Hondadas, Neptunes, Chromes, EC tunes, this PT tune that just came out, BM or whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying,
and then you got the real ones. There's Haltech, there's Motec, there's AEM Infinity, there's Fuel Tech, Motec, you know, I mean, it goes on. There's so many different. It's amazing to see the parity of how the guys are pushing the records. Man, are we gonna get there? I don't know if I even care to be on that. But honestly, I'd like to get back to. I'd like to run an 850, 840 car that would just be a solid car that could go out and do very well on the West Coast. I don't want to blow it up. I don't understand. We lost a lot of motors with Greg's program, and different tuners and stuff like that. You know, it all comes back to like Shane. You know, we wanted to get Shane on, you know, Shane Tecklenburg. Yeah. One bad man. You know, it's really weird how all that stuff, you know, and what the tuners and everybody are doing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I was told no one had ever made an 8-second pass on Sac Raceway, but you went 840s.
I went 840s and I went 840s.
Did you do that Sac or no?
No, I went 9.0 at Sac. We've went 9.0 so many times at Sacramento in that car, it's crazy. But I went 840s in Vegas.
So was Fat Kid Marcos the first
one?
No, Greg holds the track record at Sacramento.
Oh, that's right. He did just run. That's right.
Greg went like I think we went 830 or 840
or something. 840.
Like a low 8.4 pass at Sac.
Yeah, he was the first 8 that I know.
He went 860 on one of my motors there. But we built, like I said, those guys, they were hurting motors every 4 or 5 passes.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I mean, I'm not trying to do that. But if I want to be able to do that and run like 840, 850, you know, consistently, yeah. And then an all-wheel drive car, you know, we're interested in that. We're interested in that.
Yeah.
Right. I wonder to see where the sport goes with the all-wheel drive thing.
All-wheel drive fucking Honda is cool. I just I hope it doesn't kill the other classes. Like I said, we got spread apart. There's all motor outlaw, all motor, and then there's pro stock all motor, like the real pro all motor. Where'd that go?
Well, we were talking about that the other day when I was talking about brackets, and then I was talking about all motor, and then you had
and then they came up with indexes.
Yep. You had.
You know, I think indexes are good because it suits the need of a lot of people. And like I said, you have to understand the grassroots.
The last CMI we went to, it bugged me because you literally had a class of I think 15 all motor cars, and then they seen that Albert was there, so they're like, oh fuck that, we want to go to the 12.5 class, the 11.5 class, because we don't want to race Albert.
But they weren't even like. What? They weren't even cars that should have been in the 1250s.
Well, that was the thing though, but it wasn't the all motor and the AMP. There was no AMP.
That's what I said. That's why I said. I think
it's that participation, like.
No, I think what
that's why the indexes were there. But honestly, I think the indexes ruined the classes.
That's exactly what I said. It gives somewhere to run.
Well, I look at it.
I seen they have a 950 index back east.
Yeah, that's just new. No, that's new, isn't it?
Why would you run a 950 index when, you know, but
Okay, I think it's okay for like 1050, 1150, 1250. I don't think you should stay there though. Use it like how I'm using it. I'm using it as a stepping stool to get into it. And after this year, I plan on going to AMP.
It's almost like promoters should only do index classes if there aren't enough cars
to fill a class.
To do, it's like you should run provisional. Like we're gonna run an all motor street class, and sport front wheel drive, and just leave it like that and see if there's like 60 cars. Then like do what Cliff does. Have a step down. The next 16 that qualified made it, and run another one. Don't. Trust me, I get it and I understand because I was a part of NHRA where I would show up and they have an 8-car field.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would show up in LA at the World Cup final, at the World Final, and there'd be 20 cars on the property. And we're just trying to make the field.
Yeah.
Even just to be in it, to make the first one, and so we could race Jesus Padilla in his RX-7.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like and then you have sport front wheel drive, and you have extreme sport front wheel drive. It's like, why are you making all of these classes instead of just saying, hey, keep building your car to make that class? Why are you trying to do so many different classes?
Really, it should go back to straight up, because they don't. We know, unfortunately, we lost the pro front cars, this, that, and the other. So what it should go back to? It should go back to sport front wheel drive. No extreme, this, that, or whatever. You came and you can run up to the tire size and so on and so forth. You should have your smaller turbo class, you know, in the same thing, but you got to have the seats, the FIS or something. Like Cliff has a couple of good ideas with some of the things, the way he runs it. But then you have your all motor, and then you could have indexes. But honestly, I think anything further than an 1150 index is ruining. I think you're ruining the sport. I think you're taking away from cars that could be running in a class. It was a point that we used to go out there just to be a part of it. We just wanted to qualify.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got to the point now where they make so many classes because maybe back east they can have these things because they have, you know, big ass events. But we don't have the events on a regular schedule. Like you'll go to one event and then they have another event 2 weeks later at the same track with a different company.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped throwing races.
Yeah.
Because when it was getting crowded, look, I made money as a promoter. Mm-hmm. We did well. We didn't kill it, but I made money as a promoter.
Yeah, I along with the classes, it's the whole, like we were talking about earlier. It's almost the same thing where I'll build my car for OGS, and I'll build my car for NHRA, and I'll build my car for CMI, and then I'll build my car for this. Every event has a different rule. So you're building one car for each fucking race instead of just building.
There's still too many. I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, which would be great again, which someone would step up and get NHRA involved again in sanctioning an event.
Yeah. We
tried. I talked with John Brown. Me and Lisa flew out, and Stefan from M Factory. We flew out to Florida, and you remember the NSCRA? It was supposed to be this region. Me and Lisa, this, that. We tried. It never materialized in anything. And the problem is that you need the backing of those sanctioning bodies to do it, and that's what will bring that stuff back. But you know. It was a shame when they left the industry. Nopi was great. It was there was Nopi. Look, we raced. I was the NHRA series. Okay, that was before I was involved. Okay, but there was. Mm-hmm. But back when we raced, there was NHRA, Nopi, IDRC, Battle of the Imports. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. Not back then.
So when those things were going on, we had it amassed, but they were nationwide. Yeah. They were all doing their thing, going everywhere. So there were events that popped up, and it was like everybody prepped to get ready for the next one, and that was the difference. Now it just seems like everybody chooses the same month to throw it, and then like I said, you got Cliff, who it's just business.
Like this, we have Drag Race Nationals next weekend. The weekend after that, you have CMI Tech.
Right. But Drag Race Nationals is down
LA.
Totally different.
Yeah.
That's not going to hurt you really because
you
are going to get guys that are going to go. But the problem is that if out of the professional teams that do go, if they get hurt, they won't make the next race.
Yeah.
But CMI has always been a local event. Tony throws his events the day he throws his events every year pretty much, and he doesn't change anything.
It was...
Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
I think in my teenage years, watching CMI, It's always been local, but it was a big enough local event that you had big people come out.
CMI was a thing back in the day. Eric Aguilar used to come out. I mean, you know, there were a lot of teams from LA.
I always yell. I always get mad at
JJ come from Colorado.
So I get mad at Speed Factory. I've been trying to bring this up to them for a very long time. Other than IFO, they do not come to California.
They came from my event.
But back then.
Not now.
Not now.
Well, you know what?
I'm like, you are such a huge company.
Hold on a minute.
That you have all these people that want to see your car.
I was thinking about this on my way driving today. You know, like how much racing am I going to do? This, that, and the other, or what? You know, what's going to be more important, racing or business?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now business. Hey, they've got a 10-person company. They bring 30 people every time they come racing. Okay. It's a production.
Oh, I get it.
It's a production.
I get it.
So now, they you know, every year they receive a certain amount of money from competition pledge, this, that, you know, parts, you know, so on and so forth. You know, and they have to make that work. But you know, what you kind of do is like they're older now. They got kids, and you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So they're starting to slow down and focus on being home, being business. I see Ricky. He's in Havasu all the time. You know,
kind of going through the stage that you went through in a sense.
Well,
like we
yeah,
had to step away for a minute and go live a life.
You know, but they're still continuing to do it. But they're
But
picking and
business,
choosing.
not racing.
They're picking and choosing their battles.
Yeah,
which is smart.
Yeah.
Cause look at the other guy. Look, where'd he go?
Man.
Hey, he fucking backed away from racing for a while and said, "Hey, I'm going to focused on business. And look where he is now. He's got, you know, multi-million-dollar companies, and he built parts for aerospace stuff here and there on the side, and you know, and all kinds of other things. You know, it's like it's crazy where some of these people have gone from this industry. You know, like I said, and these kids don't understand sometimes what this industry can get you into.
Yeah.
You know, I've always wondered what's going to be the first thing that's going to make me $1 million. It'll probably be nothing to do with racing.
No,
probably not.
Nothing to do with racing.
No.
Because you know what? You know a good way. Well, I heard this one time. You know a good way to make $1 million at racing?
Don't race.
Huh?
Don't race.
No, you start with $2 million at the end of the year, and you're lucky if you have $1 million at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's true though. I mean, even you look at all the big race companies as of right now. I mean, they're not doing it from racing. They're not winning money from racing that's keeping them alive. It's someone like Jason Parks.
There's a few guys.
It's someone like Jason Parks that has a company now that he's selling products to.
No, he does.
Ford is racing.
He does.
Speed Factory's selling their products to a Ford racing. It's not so much out racing to win money to pay for their racing.
No. If you're in racing to win money, you're in the wrong business.
Exactly. That's what I'm.
You're not John Force. You're not Don Schumacher.
No.
Okay. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
I mean,
racing is a bad drug habit,
Yep.
but it's better than any drug habit in
all
the
day.
world.
All day.
But yeah, no, racing. Hey, you know what? I'd rather my kid be addicted to drag racing any day than drugs.
All day.
Oh, sure.
All right. I mean, we've touched everything on my list. Is there anything else that you feel you want to talk about? I mean, anything else that you want to get off your chest? Anything else that you think anybody needs to hear?
Yeah. This whole all motor outlaw thing, we'll see. It's just a fad. Are we all gonna start running nitro in our fucking turbo cars? And don't get me wrong, it's already been done before. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But we come from a society back in the day where we were tested, fuel, we were pumped, our motors were checked. There were all kinds of weird things that were happening back in the day. Hey, you know, rules are rules. If you guys are having fun, hey, whatever. It's your guys' party. It's not mine. But if we want to get this thing back to the basics and make this community, you know, what it was, not saying it isn't on the East Coast, because the culture out there is different because of the tracks, the amount of tracks, the amount of racers up and down that coast. And you know, the cool thing is it's the East Coast, you got to remember, they're just like us. New York and Florida are almost like not really California and Los Angeles, but
they're Washington and like they're like what 11 hours something.
I was just about to say the entire East Coast of what 9 different
look
states.
at World Cup Finals. Look at La Fluffy last year.
California.
They wrecked the car
and built a car in Florida and brought a car up.
They took the car apart while the dude was driving the car up there. They put it together over fucking night.
Yeah.
Just to have it not launch, and you know, but
that's
you know
what
what?
people don't realize is
those people have heart.
Yeah, but that's what you don't realize is most people don't realize you have 9 states in the size of 1 state.
Right.
You can have an event in Florida, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, and that's just
and
California.
We're in the worst state in the union
Yeah.
to do this stuff because here we can't do what you guys do.
Yeah.
We can't drive our race car with the parachute down the street for a Slurpee, Chris Miller.
Right?
Well, to end it out,
that was Vegas.
Mind if I ask you a couple questions real quick? Just answer.
They're quick questions.
They're quick questions. All
right.
Street or track?
Track.
Force induction or all motor?
Force induction.
Paint job or wrap?
Paint job.
Weed or alcohol?
Weed.
Thick or skinny?
Skinny.
Flat side or arm drop?
Neither.
Tree?
That's right.
That's it. That's all I got.
Alright. Well, guess we'll end it here.
3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hour podcast.
I guess we'll end it here.
Well,
and
you guys edit
way to break it in.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you guys edit some.
Oh, we will. And we might sit down again in some future, and when you get, like you said, come for a toy drive, come for an opening,
absolutely, guys. You know, it'd probably be a good thing. Maybe we could do that, set up a podcast day out that day. Maybe we can get a bunch of different people. You guys can sit down and get a couple of episodes filmed.
Yeah, whatever works out. So
no, I mean, you get like Rochelle. You know what I'm saying?
I already reached out to her. We already talked. She was like, I'm down. She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. She's like,
but no, that'll be a good time. You know what I'm saying? We can kill a few birds with stones. You know, because there's certain ones that have a lot to talk about, and certain ones.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know that are just the ones that you can pick and choose at and stuff like that. You guys should do some events too. If you can.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you.
Alright, thank you for another episode of Gas Podcast.
Hey.
Barbershop Performance.
All love, guys. I appreciate you guys.